everybody. Welcome to the stream. I am so exhausted, but also so excited to finally be back. Oh my gosh, this hype train started already. It's because I've been gone for so long. Thank you, everybody. All right, let's see. I've got a lot of thank yous. Jared gave me a hydrate before we went live. Thank you. Estevan, I miss you. Starcat and Irdle and Catnip and Whirlin, thank you all so much for the resubs. Boom Bubble Pa, Leaked Prism, thank you, welcome. Sai, dude, it's good to be back. I've missed streaming so much. I know I was able to stream a little bit from my parents' house, but let me tell you, the 2 weeks back east for the holidays right into CES grind that I feel like is my end of year / beginning of the next year every single year. Ooh, it's a lot. It's a lot. Storytime with Gabe says, did you go straight from Philly to Vegas for CES? Almost. I stopped home for one day to unpack and repack. Mostly because I don't want to bring all my filming equipment home to Philadelphia with me. Like I say home because that's where I grew up, but you know what I mean. And so I had one day back in between to try to get ready for CES. But yes, it's exhausting. And so I'm so tired, but I told Nate this morning, I feel like today is my New Year's Day because this is my first day really back in my own space with my own stuff. This is my first week where my work week is back to normal. So all the things I wanted to do as far as incorporating more physical activity into my life, into my day, into my week, reorganizing things in my office or downstairs in my house, going through things in my house, all of those things, New Year's resolution-y type things or big plans for the future. Today is the first day that I can actually think about and start that stuff. So today feels like my New Year's Day. St. Clair says, got to watch your CES coverage, quality like always. Thank you. I still have more videos to release. And I know as a content creator, you want to get all the videos out during the event because that's when people are searching for them. But as a one-woman show running around filming with my little camera and one editor, Jen, shout out Jen, who, by the way, Jen pulled, I was pulling bonkers hours and Jen was pulling bonkers hours to try to get all the CES content done. Jen had to bring in another friend. We brought in another person. Things were nuts, okay? Jen is a rock star. Things were absolutely bananas pants the whole weekend or the whole week that I was at CES. My brain was jello. Jen's brain was jello. It's wild. Jen killed it. But we still have 3 more videos. They're short form videos that are going to go up on Instagram Reels. But we still have 3 more videos we haven't released. And I still have at least 2 videos more worth of content in addition to that in the can that I don't know what I'm going to do with. Jen does an amazing job. Yeah, Jen does an amazing job. But both of us were rocking probably 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night during CES to try to hit all the deadlines and get all the stuff out. So, Jen's in chat. You said you're going to burst into tears. You're still so delusionally tired. I appreciate you so much, but we didn't. Yeah, there's still so many more videos that have not been released yet. But yeah, Jen is the freaking coolest. And I hope we both don't get sick. But yeah, it's been wild. You can hear my voice. I have sad, tired CES voice. And Jen and I were actually messaging each other screen caps of our Fitbit readiness scores every day. Because every day it was your readiness score is 15 out of 100. I was look, I know what that looks like on 0 hours of sleep and not eating and drinking because I'm just running from thing to thing to thing. And at one point Jen was it says my readiness score is none. It just says your readiness score none. So we were laughing through the delusion of last week. Delirious can be fun. You can tell how delirious I'm in if you watch the video I put out where I drop the fans and just end the video going, CES. Or the video that I did where I tried to ride the bike and like almost ran into a man. You can tell that I'm just like absolutely delirious, like running on no sleep loopy town. I said that to Jen. As soon as she saw that footage, I was like, can you tell how tired I am? She was like, absolutely. Riding the bike was the best. Yeah, it's just wild. Just wild. You thought those were bits? No, that was just life. It was very funny. Yeah, and having the January trip be like 0 to 100 miles per hour right after the holiday break is always just wild. Always just wild. There's so many things that I saw other content creators that I follow get to cover that I didn't see that I'm so jealous. It's always a gamble, like what you're going to see. Because as one person, there's no way to cover it all. Not even close. You can't even cover 10% of it as one person. So you make appointments at the things that sound interesting. And you stumble upon things that are interesting. And you hope you find some really cool stuff. I will say, honestly, this year, I don't think I found as much cool stuff as last year. Now, we were talking about it on Daily Tech News Show when I was guesting on that this last week at CES. And I was talking about it with friends of mine that work for other companies after the show or on like the last couple days of the show. And a lot of folks were saying they felt like this year was actually a more enterprise focused year, even though it's the Consumer Electronics Show. A lot of the stuff was like, I'm here showcasing in hopes that I get bought out by a bigger company. Please, 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 please. There was a lot of that, which I think contributed to less really cool consumer focused stuff. I tried to find what I thought was the coolest things that I stumbled across there, but it's just luck if you happen to stumble across neat stuff. St. Clair says that's why I never covered CES officially. It's just too much at the start of the year for me. Yeah, it's wild. Do we have a divided household today? Niners versus Eagles? I mean, kind of. I actually have an audition smack in the middle of the game. It's a remote audition, thank goodness. But still, I was like, they wanted to audition during CES, and I was like, it's not going to happen. So I said that I would get home late last night, and they were like, great, Sunday it is then. And I'm like, oh, good. So I'm going to be auditioning with, like, dead CES voice and, like, absolutely half a brain. But you know. But then, yes, I'm going to put on my Eagles jersey and pretend to be angry at my husband for the rest of the day. Ha, 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 ha. St. Clair said my press emails were all AI. Dude, everything. Everything had AI slapped on it. And, like, I was actually really sad at the beginning of the week. Jen and I talked about it a little bit. Also, thank you, Jen, for being my therapist of sorts. But I was also, we don't need Project Hope anymore. I don't even know if they're still fundraising. Let me take that away. But also donate to Project Hope year round because they're amazing. But yeah, I was actually really sad that in like the Samsung video that I put out on Instagram, I was talking about this really cool TV technology and it was a branded post and Samsung was like, make sure you mention that it has our new Vision AI. And I told them, I don't think people are going to be as excited about that as you think they are. But they were like, well, can you just mention that it has it? And I said, sure. I will mention that it has it. And I tried to do it in a way that I was like, here's what you could use it for, right? If you wanted to use it. And I got so many comments that were like, screw you for promoting AI, you sellout. And I'm like, look, it's not like I made a video that I was like, download Grok. Grok's the best. It's not like I did that. I said, here's the TV. It's really cool. Also, it has this feature. You don't have to use that feature. I wasn't like shoving that feature down anybody's throat. Don't get it if you don't want it. Okay? That's what my follow-up should have been. But yes, everything at CES has AI. So I was so upset because I said to Jen, I was like, how am I supposed to cover this trade show if anytime I mention AI, people are like, screw you and die, person, at CES? What? That's all it is. That's all it is. And so many things said they had AI to try to sound impressive that didn't even actually have AI anywhere adjacent to them. Like explaining to these companies that like the audience is not as excited about AI as you think they are. Trying to explain that to them was really hard. In fact, yeah, I'm just mentioning what features it has. Don't use it if you don't like it. I don't care. I don't care. Honestly, that TV is probably going to be about $30,000 plus. So no one watching that video is buying it anyway. I don't care if they buy it. I'm just telling you about a cool thing I saw. Totally up to you if you want to get it. Like, I was like, ha. Yes, I did. I am Drax says, wait, you actually tried to explain it to them? Yes, because I have another video coming out that I think people are going to have the same reaction to. Because I do a lot of work with Amazon and Amazon Live, and I have a video coming out with like all of Amazon's updates. Some of those updates include updates to Alexa. Now, I don't know if people are as angry at Alexa as they are at AI in general. We'll see. But I'm explaining what the updates to Alexa are. I don't care if you use them. There's no part of me or my person or my body that's like, use this every day. I don't care. But yes, when I was talking to the people are angry at Alexa too. That's always a thing. Okay. But so what I'm trying to say, I'm Drax says it's a rough sell right now with the negatives attached to AI. What I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to sell it. There's no sell. I have zero personal interest in whether people use this. If it's something you're already interested in, here's the updates that were announced at CES. Like as someone that's trying to journalistically cover CES, here were the announcements. I don't care if you use them. Like, it's so hard.
You have returned.
Yeah, corporate salespeople are so excited. Make sure you mention this. Make sure you mention that. So yeah, my video from Amazon coming out, I was actually having a conversation with the marketing folks, and I was like, hey, I know you're really excited for me to tell people that now everything you offer has AI in it. I know you're really excited about that. Nobody else is excited about that. Nobody else is excited about that. Very few. So I was like, can I talk about the other things that are cool and new about this? Because I'd love to highlight those instead of just being like, it's got AI now. Like, that's not going to be the exciting thing you think it is. St. Clair says, what I've ended up doing is saying things like, they listed AI features for those who are interested. Right. Right. It is trendy right now to hate on AI. If you don't, then you're not one of the cool kids. But like, there's many valid reasons to hate on AI, but that doesn't stop it from coming. Like from like a journalistic reporting on announcements angle, I'm telling you it's coming. I don't care if you adopt it or not. I'd actually prefer you didn't adopt it, if we're going to be honest. If they made AI optional, I feel like people would be okay with it. I mean, I'm pretty sure in a lot of things I checked out, you can turn off all those features if you want to. Yes, catnip, that's exactly it. Catnip says corporations. AI is the thing now. Consumers, it's really not. But yes, CES was really the AI show. And even Computex earlier last year before that, their byline, they were like, Computex, AI next. That was like their theme for the year. And I was like, oh no. Oh no. You uninstalled Copilot from your laptop immediately? Sure.
Have returned.
You saw a YouTube video of a reporter talking about credit cards, and the majority of people that got interviewed were anti-credit cards. I didn't know there was anti-credit card backlash. Wow, that's interesting. But I love people having freedom to choose the things they want. And what I try to explain in the comments to people that were angry is I'm like, yo, your anger is justified at AI, right? In general. And if you don't want to use it, don't use it. But being at this show where there are over 100,000 attendees and most of them are like, AI. It's coming whether you hate it or not, okay? Because there's so many people that have invested so much money into it. How about let's focus that energy into using it ethically, morally responsible uses of AI, right? Let's focus that energy there. How can it be regulated? Let's focus that energy there. With credit cards, people are against removing cash options because there are many who can't go fully digital. Interesting. I would love to read more about that. Thank you for bringing that up. Copilot's getting to the point where you hate it as much as you hate OneDrive. OneDrive drives me crazy too. I turn that off on everything. You would advise them to check out Terminator and Horizon Zero Dawn? Dude, especially. Did you see the robots video that Jen and I put out yesterday? Stay till the very end. I'm so glad Jen was like, wait, I had to save this moment for the very end of the video. Because we didn't keep it in the cut. But when I filmed it, I was filming it B-roll style, so it wasn't facing me. I was filming the robot. And like, I had my microphone on, and I said, this is terrifying. Like, I filmed it, and then I whispered into the mic, this is terrifying. And Jen saved that clip for the very end of the video. Oh, it's there twice. I was like, oh no, my friends. Like a long uncut shot because it was so creepy. Again, this was like loopy end of week CES. But that's why, like, at the end of my robots video, I was like, so let me know if this video made you more excited about Rosie from the Jetsons or more terrified. Because, yeah, I don't know. I was bummed, though, that simply listing that something has AI features offered made me the bad guy. Because I was like, there's no way for me to cover this show then without being the bad guy. Because the entire show, everything has AI slapped on it. And I'm not going to, like, stop going to CES. This is my 18th CES. I love CES. I love seeing stuff that, like, may or may never come to be in the future from a tech standpoint. Like, I think it's really fascinating. Do these companies not watch all the sci-fi movies or shows with evil AI? I honestly think they don't care. A lot of them, I think, if they own the evil AI, all good. It's like, but I'm not evil, and, you know, I'm in charge. Not the same. Is this the same dress as CES? No, this is a different dress. I actually, after the stream today, I have an audition, and I was trying to pick, like, what might be the most neutral to wear for the audition, so I thought this blue dress would be fine. No, I actually got a bunch of new fits for CES. I did some shopping when I was back in Pennsylvania. Shout out the Philadelphia outlets. I did some shopping with my mom to pick out new outfits for CES, and I ordered some clothes on Amazon that I thought these might be horrible or they might be cool, and some of them were cool, so I kept those. But my Instagram photo carousel post that I did has a slide towards the end of, like, all my different CES outfits that I planned out. Here, I got distracted. I was going to turn off the chat bot for Project Hope, and I forgot, so... Sorry, my brain is still... What did I tell somebody? I told my friend at AMD that my brain was a stack of pancakes. And he was like, you know, that kind of makes sense at this point in CES. Yes, a stack of pancakes is what my brain is at this very moment. All right, Project Hope is turned off. And I see your fit check, Leviathan of Mars. Yeah, this is also an Amazon buy. This is just an easy, stretchy dress that I bought on Amazon for, like, comfy days, like today.
Have returned.
Pancakes are delicious, but you don't want your brain to be a stack of them. Like, the stack's so high it might fall over. Or, like, it's so drippy with the butter and the syrup, it's just slowly careening to the side. That's my brain. The audition is for a hosting gig, yes. How goes the voice role in the upcoming game? They haven't asked me to record any more lines for it, so they're still firmly in the development process. But it did get crowdfunded. A lot of the lines that I recorded before were placeholder lines for that game. So once they're further in development, I will be able to record the more lines for the game. They said they might use some of the placeholder lines I already recorded for the game, but they might they're going to change stuff, obviously, in the development process. But yeah, one of the companies that I was just reading, government is giving tax subsidies like candy to tech companies implementing AI. A lot of these companies, in addition to being like very, very excited about AI, they'll give talking points like in their messaging. They're like, our research has shown that more people want more AI in more places. And it's like, your research of who? Who did you poll that said that? I cry shenanigans on your research that more people want more AI in more places. But this is what they're all saying, right? That's bad research. Hi, Joker Joe. Yeah, our research. So, like, that's the kind of marketing schmack. I don't know, schmack's not a word. Again, Tower of Pancakes is my brain right now. That's the kind of stuff I was combating the entire week. Of like, some of these features are actually cool. And like, if these tools are incorporated in an ethical and responsible manner, this is actually very interesting. But you've covered it up with so much AI. You've covered it up with so much of that that it's hard to like talk about the cool part. St. Clair says, you also looked fantastic while covering the show. Oh my gosh. You're so nice. I did not feel like it. By the end of the week, my good buddy Snubs, shout out my good buddy Snubs, follow her, she's amazing. She and I were rooming, and I just told her by day 3, I was like, I feel like I look so haggard. Like, I feel like a dump truck ran me over and then backed up and just did that a few times before I even left for the day to report on anything, because that's how I was feeling on the inside. Snubs is amazing. Yeah, she's amazing. Go follow her. But yeah, I didn't get to see the amount of stuff that I wanted to see. Like, people are reporting on stuff that I'm like, I didn't get to see the Lego Smart Brick at all. Didn't get to see it. And I wish that I did. Mr. Biggs asked again about the voice role. I've answered that question already. And so I don't want to answer it again because I just answered it like 3 minutes ago. You felt so cramped for me in that corner during the show. During DTNS, I'm a small person. That's okay. I didn't feel cramped. It was great. Applegator, thank you for the sub. Appreciate you, my friend. Welcome to the Dragon Riders. Oh no, Mr. Biggs, you got an ad and missed the answer. Oh no. The TLDR answer is they're very much still in development. When they get closer to the game's release, I'll probably have to record more VO. But right now, they're still working on things I'm not involved with. But yeah, like there were a couple things. Oh, the Lego flower sets are beautiful. Forlorn Knight, thank you for gifting a sub to Mr. Biggs. You're so kind. Now, Mr. Biggs, you won't get stuck in ads because Forlorn Knight just gifted you a sub. Yay! TGMDK says Lego Smart Brick. It's not the first time Lego do lights and sounds. That's true. I did see they did an activation where you could play video games on the outside of the sphere. I saw Jenna Azarek and Justine got to do it, and I was like, I'm so sad I wasn't invited to that, but that's okay. I always try to treat like content creator exclusive opportunities. They are definitely a nice to have and not an entitled to. But I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a Lego nerd though. But that's okay. Maybe next time they do something like that that's like tech and Lego combined, I'll get the invite. But I wasn't invited. And when I saw it after the fact, I was like, that's so cool. So cool. Would I ever cover Toy Fair New York? I've covered it before, actually. I've done Toy Fair New York, but only once. Hey, Aguilar. Good to see you. Good to see you, Carlos. CES was really cool. Lego is always at Toy Fair. Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm double fisting emergency and coffee right now. I know there is debatable research on emergency, but even if I'm just drinking it for the electrolytes, that's okay. Vitamin C and electrolytes, it's okay. Beartastic, I just partnered with Lego either this last year or the year before for their D&D kit. So they know who I am for sure. They invited me to see their cool setup at Comic-Con, so they know who I am. But I wonder if like the list I'm on of theirs isn't tech specific. Like they think I'm more like fandom, Comic-Con, D&D kind of stuff. And like if it just didn't, like if they didn't know I would be at CES, you know? Thank you for the posture check. Sitting up nice and straight and tall. CES isn't open to the public. Joker Joe, the only way you can get in, and this is what I did my first couple years, is volunteer to be booth staff. Sign up with a booth staffing agency, and then any companies going to CES that need booth staff can potentially hire you. Yes, there is a Mimic Lego set. I have it downstairs. It's on my bookshelf. I don't know if they're still selling it, but... Toy Fair is where we met briefly. And Joe, too. I remember that year that Joe and I were both there. St. Clair says it's true. Booth staff is a key way in unless you're on the press side. Yes. So, hi, Salmoon. Health is so hard and important after CES. Everyone gets con crud after CES. Like, I'm just waiting over the next couple days for the text messages from fellow content creators and friends to roll in that everybody has the flu or COVID or something, because that's just, it happens every year. If you don't get sick, you're incredibly lucky. So know that I've been trying my darndest to take good care of myself so that I don't get sick this year after CES. But yeah, booth stuff is the way that I used to get into Comic-Con when the cost is prohibitively expensive for many, many people. So the way that I would get into San Diego Comic-Con was as booth staff, and the way that I would get into CES was as booth staff because I wasn't industry. And then after I was booth staff for a couple of years for CES, Samsung hired me, and my day job was working in marketing for Samsung. And then I got into CES as an exhibitor because I was working for Samsung and I was manning their booth as a Samsung employee. So I had an exhibitor badge 2 years. Yeah, it was like booth staff 2 years, exhibitor badge 2 years. And then after that, I started going as media and press. But yeah, get in how you can. If you want to go, there's a way to make it happen. Sad you didn't get to go this year, Viralzi. Look up Lego set 6480, the lights and sound set. So I'm sure that's different than what they announced this time. But I actually heard the Lego set announced this time was getting some hate, but I did not have time to go down any of those like rabbit holes at all because I was so busy at CES. But this year, as I this week, I should say, as I settle back down into like the normal pacing of things, then I'll be able to look up all that stuff. Bye, CompSci Dude. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for being here. What if you cosplay as a booth? Can you get in? So my last day in Vegas, Nate and Logan actually joined me. It was yesterday. And we went to see The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. It was very cool. And there was a guy cosplaying the house. And that's what it made me think of when you said, what if you cosplay as a booth? I appreciated the dude dressed as the house to go see Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. It was very funny. It was very funny. Apparently, since you work for an MSP, you can get in. I don't know. I've only ever gotten in as, like I said, booth staff, exhibitor when I worked for Samsung, and then as media, and then as content creation became more of a thing. Now they actually have a digital content creator badge that's separate from media. So if you do more traditional, like written editorial, or you work for a big media outlet, you'll get a media badge. And if you're independent journalist, like I am, reporting for like your own social media networks, you get a digital content creator badge. The face says there are ways for people to get in. You saw a non-tech creator get in for the swag. Not sure how I feel about that either. Well, the digital content creator badge is actually relatively easy to get accepted for. You don't need a big following. You just need to show you have a small but consistent following, and you can get in on the digital content creator badge, which I love that for smaller creators so that they can have access to events to cover these things to grow their channels. But I don't love it for things like you said, like non-tech creators just trying to go for the swag or whatever. Wizard of Oz at the Sphere was very cool. It was very, very cool. You remember people making review sites in order to get press credentials for E3? Yep. That's what people try to do. You would always try to get hired as booth photography to get in. Nice. Sneak in after it closes and camp for a year, then you get in for free. Ha ha ha. Like those convention centers aren't used for a million other things in between. You would then have to go to all the other conventions, which would be miserable. Swag monsters are at every convention. I got so much swag this year, and let me tell you, I never ask for swag. I find that super cringe. Even like friends of mine that are creators sometimes will go around a booth with me and then go, "Do you have anything I can take?" And I'm like, "Oh, why did you just say that out loud? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm associated with that." And those friends, I told them to their face that I don't like that. I think that's super cringe. Don't go ask for stuff. That's awful. If you legitimately are interested in covering something, say, "Is there a way I can get in touch with you after the show because I'd love to cover this?" That's what I do, at least. Like, I'd love to email you after the show and talk about ways that I can cover this because I find it really interesting. I don't say, like, can I just have one? Do you have one for free I can take? No, all the swag I got this year was because people see that you're a creator. And I think sometimes they're very funny because sometimes they are not sneaky about it. Sometimes they'll go, "Oh, you're a creator. What's your YouTube channel?" And then, like, while you're filming, they look you up. And then I think after they've looked you up, they're like, "Oh, we wanted to give you this gift." And I'm like, what was your numbers threshold of who gets a gift and who doesn't, huh? That's what I'm thinking. That's my inner monologue, right? But I don't say that. I just say, "Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. You really didn't have to." But yeah, I have way too much swag that I came home with this year. That's about as cringe as people asking for the swag. No, the best swag I saw, and this is one of the booths that I went to visit that the footage is still in the can and I have to figure out what to do with it, meaning it hasn't even been edited or talked about being edited yet. Corsair's booth swag that they were giving out were little CES healthcare kits. They were like little pouches with emergency and eye drops and electrolyte baggies and chapstick. And I was like, Corsair for the win with the swag. I was like, that was it. That was it. You did it. That's the swag I want to see from every booth, if we're going to be honest, at CES. And when I got to their booth, they were like, "Do you want a Red Bull?" Normally, I don't drink Red Bull, but like at that point of CES, yes, I want a Red Bull. Thank you for caring and understanding what I'm going through. Is Corsair the company that isn't selling consumer RAM anymore? No, that is, sorry, brain blanking right now, but it's not Corsair, I don't think. It's Crucial is who you're thinking of. Also starts with a C. But yeah, you need all the energy you can get. They understood their audience. Yeah. I can show off the swag. Yeah, Micron Crucial. New York Auto Show used to have booths like that. They'd offer you food, full-on catering. Dude, whose booth was I at? I was at Hyacinth's booth, and they were just giving out quesadillas. They were doing it to show off their smart kitchen tech. So they were talking about, like, their new smart range. And I actually didn't get a chance to listen to their whole demo on the new smart range. But their new smart range and smart fridge, and, like, they had a whole Hisense smart kitchen set up, but they were doing live cooking demos and then giving it out afterwards. And I was like, from the lady who hasn't eaten all day because I've been running from booth to booth to booth, thank you for this quesadilla. Yes, a little care package with mini soap and deodorant. Steak quesadillas and guacamole sounds delicious right now. It does sound delicious. Yeah, let me get my swag bags. I actually haven't even looked through them. So I can look through them with you. We'll all look through them at the same time. But yeah, I actually need to, for my own brain organization, figure out which CES videos still need to be edited, which CES videos still need to be approved and posted, because some of them are branded partnerships, which means the brand has to approve them, which honestly, just to give everybody a little insight into how that process works, the way I do it, brand approvals are usually, it's actually very hard in an event like this, because usually they're like, can you also add in this and this and this? It's like they're very excited to tell everyone as much as they can about their product, which I get that, but like it's a 60 or 90-second video max. So a lot of times all the back and forth, because it's illegal for them to change any opinions I have about anything, right? Like I have my opinions about what I'm talking about. I wouldn't be covering it if I didn't think it was interesting. So it's not about that. Like I think people get the ick when they hear brand approvals. What it really is like, hey, this is what I was excited about with your products. Can you check it for factual accuracy? Since like your brand is also going to be on it, make sure everything I said is factually correct. But usually they come back with, can you also add that it has this and this and this? And like with CES, I'm like, not really. I can't go back to CES and shoot it again. Sometimes you can do that with voiceover, but then the voiceover sounds very different than what I already said. So that's going to be slightly jarring. But it's usually because, and again, I don't work with the ick companies that like try to change your opinion on anything. But yeah, it's usually because they're so excited about their thing. They want to make sure that all this stuff is included. And you're like, hey, it's a 60-second video. I can't include all that. It can't happen. It can't happen. LG TVs looked, honestly, all the TVs looked great this year. I have a video coming out about my favorite TV that I saw at the show, which didn't get CNET's awards. I was surprised, is a new TV technology from TCL. And I'm hoping I can release that video tomorrow. It'll be a short form video. But they have a new TV technology that they announced, which I like because A, the picture quality was stunning. And B, it's less expensive. It's a less expensive picture quality than the RGB mini LEDs that other companies are coming out with. So when put side by side, it looks samesies or better, in my opinion, than like the $30,000 plus TVs, but it's going to be more affordable. Now, granted, that's more affordable for a super high-end TV, so don't be thinking like you're going to get the latest newly announced tech for $200. It's not going to be that. But if it's like $30,000 versus $8,000 or $9,000, and you're in the market for a super freaking high-end 100-inch plus TV, that's a better deal, in my opinion. But anyway, I have a whole video coming out on those TVs that I was really excited about tomorrow, hopefully. Tomorrow. TCL knows how to make an affordable television. And I'm telling you, this TV looks so good. I was actually like, it was funny because I had said to Nate, like just joking around, I was like, what if I got to do like a series of videos for TCL talking about this TV in the future? And they gave us one. What if? This is just Trisha's make-believe fantasy world wishes. And Nate was like, we cannot fit that in our house. I love you, baby, and I love that you love this, but it will not fit in our house. We don't have like a movie theater in our house. And for a TV that big, you almost need that. And I was like, for a TV that beautiful, we almost could buy a new house. And Nate was like, stop it. This is the dynamic between my husband and I all the time, by the way. It is so hard to tell picture quality through social media videos or YouTube. 100%. So many times in these videos, I'm like, you are not seeing what I am seeing. Like, I hope it comes through on camera. It's so hard to try. You can't even really. The only way you can really see what that picture quality looks like is by like going into a Best Buy or a Costco or wherever you shop for your electronics and seeing the TVs in person. But I hate having to make videos where I'm like, trust me, okay? Yes, I need to bring the swag bags in. I didn't do it yet. Ugh. It's like explaining VR to someone who's never tried it. That's true. Just move the wall a bit. I'm sure Nate can do it. Yeah, right now in our living room, we have a 65-inch TV, which honestly looks huge in our living room. I cannot imagine bigger than that. And I want to say, I'm trying to remember because I looked at so many different TVs at CES this week. I want to say that like big fancy TVs, a lot of them, the smallest size they come in is an 85-inch. And Nate's like, no way. No way. 65 is too big. We can't. Nope. But I'm like, yes, but the tech and the picture quality. And he's like, nope. Albrecht says, my house can barely handle a 55-inch TV. I know. We used to. For years, we had a 55-inch TV. And then I did a brand deal that they offered me a 65-inch TV and didn't want it back. So that's the TV that we have in there now. Build a fancy outdoor patio for the giant TV. Then you need a weatherproof TV. That's a whole other product segment. You have a 75-inch TV for your living room? Ooh, I'm jelly. Did the show slow down on the laser projector push? I actually saw a really impressive laser projector from Hisense that it looked like a TV screen. Expands. It looked like a TV. It didn't look like a projector, but it was a projector. So that was really impressive. Now, granted, they have the lighting set up exactly how they want it to be set up for that, so you have to take those demos with a grain of salt. But it was on the busy CES show floor, which is not a controlled lighting environment. So, like, they had, like, stuff over top. It was, like, in a little tent, but still all the light coming in the tent. CP Falcon, thank you for gifting subs, you wonderful human. I've missed you. How are you? Luxton says, I was listening to Daily Tech News show about the whole giant TV stuff. It's economically unfeasible because consumers don't have room or needs for anything bigger. My house cannot fit that. I always joke around whenever, because sometimes companies will email me, and I think they actually have a hard time probably finding creators for those huge TVs because you're better now that I'm back to streaming. Thank you. I will have companies sometimes email me that they're like, we would love to send you our TV for free in exchange for coverage. And I have to respond back like, thank you so much for this very generous offer. My house cannot fit that TV. That's really nice of you, but I can't. It would sit in my garage, which is not a good, like, please offer this to another creator that can accommodate that because I can't. Like, I have a very middle class, normal folk home, and you know, like, especially California real estate is not the cheapest. So you, like, for me to live in California and I feel like have a home big enough to have a huge TV like that, I'd have to be a bajillionaire. And I'm not a bajillionaire, so can't do that. Time to cover the large TV content creator. Hear me out, backyard movie theater. We do have a projector for backyard movie nights. It's not a great projector, but we have a projector for it. It is a fine projector. It is a sub $400 projector as opposed to a $2,000 projector. I feel like those are the two product segments when you're looking at projectors, right? But we only use it a couple times a year. Yeah, Frequency Punch says didn't get offered a TV not too long ago, but you rejected it because it was too big. Frequency Punch, that happens all the time. It happens all the time. They could make you a bajillionaire, then you could afford it. I mean, even if they made me a bajillionaire, I feel like, well, I can't even imagine what that would be like because that's not anywhere close to my reality. But even if that happened, I feel like, I don't know, Logan's college fund, like there would be things donating to charity and people, like there would be things that are on the list before getting a bigger house to fit a bigger TV, as nice as that sounds. Fatty donation to Project Hope. Projector company sounds like Trish could use a laser projector. I mean, I did have a really nice conversation with the folks at Hisense when I saw their laser projector that I was really impressed with. about like maybe working together at some point in the future. Like we exchanged emails. Sometimes exchanging emails leads to nothing. Sometimes it leads to like 6 months later an email out of nowhere being like, hey, we're releasing a thing I think you might like. Would you like to work together? That's the nice thing about CES, especially I think for smaller creators that get access, is making those connections, right? You're going to these shows to shake hands and smile and like make a real human connection and see if there are things you would like to cover or maybe people you'd like to work with in the future. Did I see the Razer headphones with cameras? No, and I did see Razer's booth, so I got like a little Razer press demo and I saw a concept gaming chair, but it was haptics and sound built into the chair. Not really different than other concept chairs I've seen before. I saw a more casual gamer focused gaming controller, which to me those things were interesting, but they weren't interesting enough to like make the cut for my videos. And then I saw their bizarre desktop companion, which there were multiple bizarre desktop companions this year. So many companies making them. But I saw Razer's and that did make my video because I don't know. Like we've had Clippy since back in the day and Clippy wasn't humanoid. For whatever reason, having your desktop companion be humanoid was simultaneously cooler and creepier in my mind. But then in the comments, someone told me that Razer's Project Ava, which is this desktop companion that I'm talking about, is powered by Grok right now. And I was like, huh! That immediately kills it for me. But when I was talking to them, surprisingly enough, they did not mention that. Surprisingly enough, they were like, and it will be open source, so you can pair it with whatever you want. So that's the spiel I got from the marketing folks. I did not get the powered by Grok, but the press release does say the current version is powered by Grok. Justice for Clippy! You hope those weird jar things fail. You know what? There's going to be a market for them. There were some, and at least Razer's didn't have this, but there were some desktop companions that were like even more waifu looking that responded to touch input as well. And I was like, oh no, I'm out. We have now gotten too strange. Like having your little desktop companion to talk to throughout the day in case you're lonely is already a whole topic of conversation, right? We could do a whole thing on just that, but then having it accept touch input so you could like, I don't even want to brainstorm. I was like, okay. Okay. Like, oh, I'm gonna tickle her. And you know what's funny? There are already apps like this. Because Nate, my husbando, was playing a game. He's gonna laugh at me for calling him out. He was playing a game that was like one of those in-app purchasey, join a clan, can't let your clan down, got to attack certain regions. And like in between attacking certain regions, you have to like cure these zombie girls or something, and you cured the zombie girls by touching them. And he was like, this is the weirdest part of this game. I don't like this game, but you have to do that. He was like, I don't like this part of the game, but you have to do this to progress. And he was showing it to me, and I was like, you have fallen in a weird rabbit hole that I want no part of, my friend. But that's what these AI companions that have touch inputs reminded me of. I was like, woof. JMD Groovy says the other creepy thing about Ava was there was another avatar you could pick that was an esports player. Dude, and Razer was so excited about that. They were like, we want to partner with other content creators too. So you could have like your favorite esports player or content creator giving you advice on loadouts and stuff. Like that's how they were thinking about it. And I'm like, in theory, that's kind of cool, but also slightly creepy. JMD Groovy says, like, having one of those avatars based on a real human felt even more strange. For sure. It doesn't seem ethical. Well, it's ethical if they sign away their rights. Like, I'm sure that esports player that was all over the Project Ava stuff got a hefty paycheck for that. Not doing that for free. And, like, if that person's okay with giving away their voice and likeness rights to be everybody's desktop companion, Like, that's how it needs to be done ethically, is people need to have a say over their rights. And if someone wants to give their rights away, that's on them. Like, if they want to sell their rights, that's on them. That's kind of the move SAG is making right now with AI. It's like, at least give actors the opportunity to sell their rights. You can't just have them for free and take them and use them how you will. Let actors have a say in selling their rights and how their face and voice and likeness will be used and for how long. And that's what SAG's arguing for now. Joker Joe, honestly, it all gives. How could this possibly go wrong? Will the company who releases the desktop companion be listening to your conversations? Is it another breach of privacy? Pretty much all the things that I saw are very similar to like an Echo Dot, where there's a mute button and a camera cover. So when you're not using it, you can mute button and camera cover. A lot of them work like that. Like a lot of these they understand people are privacy minded. And I also saw a lot of other AI companion type devices that are all locally on device. So it's not sending your data anywhere. It's all processed on device. And so there are people thinking about the privacy of it all, which is very important. Like clearly they're listening to real research, not our research shows people want more AI in more places. That was my favorite absolute crap of the show. Joker Joe says they will 1000% data mine you. The AI companies aren't the most ethical. Yeah. The one AI companion I saw that was all processed locally on device was from Gigabyte. And I forget what their AI companion was called. Gmate, maybe? Something like that. But they were really touting the privacy of it all and that it's all processed locally on device. The more of those conversations companies have with consumers about what consumer wants and needs are, the better. Now, you're absolutely right. There are definitely companies not having those conversations and operating on a just do it first and apologize later. And that's something we all need to be very cautious of.
Army.
It was really interesting rooming with my friend Shannon, aka Snubs, who is like my phone a friend when it comes to cybersecurity and privacy concerns, and hearing her input on it all. Please go follow her content if that's stuff you're interested in. But yeah, she and I were having these conversations all week long. If the product is free, you are the product. 1000% yes. Hi, Andrews. All right, let me get the swag bags. Because I said I was going to get them and then I didn't get them. Let me get the swag bags. Hold on 1 second. Because I want to open them. I want to know what's in them too. I haven't even had time. No time. Okay, share stream. I'll be right back. Okay. Remember when I said I got a lot of swag this CES? Trisha's swag bags extraordinaire. Woo! Oh. Okay. Moomin. I love Peggy Carter. Oh, first swag of the new year. You're sure Nate's super excited, LOL. You are spot on with that. Okay. So Cooler Master, who I did a video on all the stuff they were showing, they gave me a water bottle. It's so funny it's not purple. Whenever I think of Cooler Master, oh no, my screen froze. And I got it back. Huzzah! All right, so I'm going to have to figure out what that problem was later. But troubleshooting at least worked for now. I'm hoping it's not a USB bandwidth issue because that's a pain in the tuchus. But we're back. Sorry about that, folks. This is the black water bottle. I was saying I usually think of purple when I think of Cooler Master. But here, wait. Give the camera a sec. We got a little Cooler Master water bottle here. Oh, I like that it has a lock on it. That's nice. That was probably Windows breaking things again. Ha 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 ha. Okay, before they censor the swag again. So that was from Cooler Master. Thank you, Cooler Master, for the water bottle. All right, this is actually not swag. It was put in my swag bag, but this is the travel humidifier I bring to Vegas because I don't mess around with that dry air. Okay, what else is in here? Let's see. Gigabyte gave me, ooh, these are nice. Travel accessories. It looks like a little fancy pants passport book and luggage tag. Because they know, I guess, we're traveling for tech conferences. And they say Gigabyte on them. That's nice. That's a nice little set. Thank you, Gigabyte. Okay. Let's see what else we got this year. And then also, oh, this one's from Gigabyte too. And I think they said this was a pen. Ooh, Swarovski. I like a shiny. Look, it says Swarovski on the little bag. Okay, let's see. Ooh! Look at this sparkly pen. Very nice. It doesn't say Gigabyte anywhere on the pen. It says Swarovski. That's a really nice pen. All right, that's sitting right here on my desk. I'm going to be fancy. Very cool. Okay, what else we got? Let's see. A whole big old box from Dreamy. My Dreamy video hasn't even come out yet. But Dreamy, they had 2 huge booths this year. But this video is coming soon. Woo! We got a whole box here with an umbrella. An umbrella that says Dreamy. That's good because I needed an umbrella to live in my car. It rarely rains in LA, but when it does, everybody's like, I don't know what to do. I don't own an umbrella. So I like that this one's tiny because this can be my car umbrella. So that's perfect. Okay, car umbrella. Thank you, Dreamy. And what is this? Is this a lamp? That's kind of cool. I did survive the motorized bike wheelie, but just barely. This is cool. This is a cool little industrial looking lamp. Neat. And then one more box. Oh! You are my sunshine, it says. Dreamy. Insulated cup. It's a really nice quality cup. Like thermos cup. Nice. What is Dreamy? Dreamy makes, it's funny because they had 2 huge booths, but I know them for making vacuums. So they make a lot of smart home and vacuum stuff. And not, spoilers, this is a little precursor for when my video finally comes out. But they made a really cool robot vacuum that can go up and down steps, and that was fun to see. They've got pool vacuums, and they had vacuums with like the little arm that picks things up if it like encounters something that you're missing. So my video on their stuff is coming out soon. It's not out yet. That's beautiful. There's a really big box though. Okay, and then I got a bag from X-Reel. X-Reel had some really cool glasses they were showing off this year. And what I told them, so I was telling them I use my X-Reel glasses on the plane so that my neck doesn't creak, so that like I can play my ROG Ally and look straight ahead. And they were like, well, you clearly need a pillow for your neck while you're looking straight ahead. But I'm like so confused as to what all this is. Can anybody help me figure, why is there like intense I'm going mountain climbing cord on this? What's that for? Is it like, it's gotta be to hold something maybe? Is it to hold, so if I put this around my neck, does it like hold my gaming thing? It's gotta be for something. Catch 22, how are you? Okay, what do we think this is for? So like, okay, now your head's all comfy with your glasses on, you're looking straight ahead, you're playing your game. What is all this for? Armrests, maybe? Maybe. Safety, attaching a little desk. I like the idea of armrests, but they have to be adjustable. You're busy AF getting ready for a move. Oh, good luck with your move. Moving can be so stressful. It is not my favorite. But yeah, this is like a nice like memory foam. It's really nice. Can you unclip the ropes? Yes, it looks like you can. And it looks like you can adjust the length, at least of this bottom one. I don't think you can adjust the length of these gray ones. You have a little better pillow, neck pillow, do I? Might be for the transportation of it. Oh yeah, maybe to like, maybe you want to carry it like that. I don't know. Attached to luggage? Downside, you're only taking what will fit in your car. Oh, that's like how I moved to LA from Pennsylvania. I only took what would fit in my car. Good luck, my friend. But yeah, this is a plain pillow with some kind of attachment that I'm not really sure what it's for. Thank you, X-Reel. And it looks like there's more X-Reel stuff in this. What is this? This is their info booklet with all their stuff. I got to play around with the X-Reel 1S while I was there, and the ROG X-Reel R1, which is the world's first AR glasses that are 240 hertz. And so that's what I was telling them. Like, since I specifically use my X-Reel glasses for gaming, I'm very interested in the high refresh rate glasses. And then they also, this box got a little smooshed. Oh, it says it's a coffee cup. Let's see. Oh, that's cute. Cute and funky little coffee cup. Neat. My little to-go coffee cup. I can take this with me when I drop off Logan from school. Like, drop him off to school and take my little reusable tiny mini coffee cup with me. That's nice. I will use that for sure. That's really cute. All right.
You have returned.
And then I got a lot of press materials. What's this? I don't know what this is. This is from the company Salcombe, which I covered them in my robotics video. But they were there showing off a software that makes the fingers on a robot's hand individually controllable. So it's not just like that kind of hand. It's like more dexterity in the finger movement. And I thought it was interesting, and I liked their demo, so I covered it. And then after I covered it, they were like, here's a gift for you. More nerdy goodies for the pile? I mean, for some of these, yeah. If it were up to Nate, it would be all of these things are nerdy goodies. Nate's like, get rid of it all. Is this just a charger? What a funny swag. A 45-watt charger. 45-watt USB-A. How random. USB-A to USB-C charger.
Our modest fellowship
Catch-22. Double
Praise
Think Press,
the
thank you
sub.
for the resub. Catch-22 just gave out 22 community subs. Thank you. Thank you. That's so nice of you. Welcome to all the new subscribers as a result of Catch-22's generosity. Catch-22 and CP Falcon, both super generous with the sub bombs today. Super I'm opening. Nate's like, how am I even getting through this? Oh, look at the spread, though. I'm getting
spread.
football snacks, even though I'm not footballing.
Playoff spread.
Thanks, baby. He said it's the playoff spread. Cadam says a free charger. I wouldn't complain. No, I mean, a 45-watt charger is nice. I have a lot of chargers. But yeah. All right, this is going to go in the charger pile. I actually, when I reorganize my office, I want to have like a whole bucket just for chargers. A whole bucket for camera attachments. A whole bucket for all these different things. I need to get that organization done. Not sure if you're cheering Eagles or 49ers. I mean, we're rooting for both in my house, so you could do that. Okay, I have Jisoo Life. I like the bag. I like the kind of like hollow bag. They made a software, again, another robotics software, and I talked about them in my robotics video too. But I like this bag a lot. This bag's kind of cool. And then, oh, what is this? Is this like a flag for their company? What is this? Yes, I think that's what it is. Or maybe like a towel? I don't know. It says to help people all over the world feel good. Is it a towel? I'm not really sure. I don't really know. It's soft. Yeah, not really sure what that's for. Mouse mat? It's not a mouse mat. It doesn't have the right texture for that. It looks silk. It's not silk. No, here, wait. You can see that if I bring it closer to the camera. So it's like a soft, some kind of banner. Yeah, is it a flag? That's my guess. Is it some kind of flag, maybe? But yeah, their section of my robotics video is the section where my mic cut out. So you can still hear me, but you can't hear me as clearly as you can in other parts of the video. So I had asked Jen to just put a little text disclaimer on screen that's like, sorry about my audio in this section, everybody. Maybe a very large microfiber cloth, maybe. Okay, what else is in this bag? Another bag! Narwhal gave me a bag. This looks like a pretty nice quality bag. What's in it? Oh, okay. So I was wondering what this little like felty part on the front is. They gave me little patches. Or wait, that are like probably their company logo stuff. That I can like, these are Velcro on the back. So they'll just stick on here if I wanted to stick them on here however I want. But that's a pretty nice quality bag too with a little like zippy pouch in the front. That's cool. Although I don't need another bag like that, so that might be a Nerdy Goodies. That might be a Nerdy Goodies. And lots of press kits. And, oh, Narwhal also gave me a hat, a little baseball hat. That also will probably be a Nerdy Goodies, because I don't really wear baseball hats, except for I have one Baldur's Gate 3 hat that I wear. And a Batman hat that I wear sometimes. Oh, is this hand sanitizer? Hand sanitizer is always good swag at CES. That's clutch. That's really good. Oh, here's another thing from Narwhal. Oh, little pins! Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Little enamel pins of their robot vacuums. Hold up. They've cutesified their RoboVacs. And made them into these little enamel pins. That's so funny. And look at this one. Yeah, that's adorable. Oh, CP Falcon says, it seems the neck pillow is not for travel. It's a stabilization device for using AR glasses. So the ropes are somehow for preventing head drift and to maintain a consistent spatial orientation for the AR sweet spot. So you attach the ropes to something stationary. Whoa, what? That seems very like futuristic WALL-E style. That's cool though. Thank you for looking that up. I need to see what that looks like now. Okay, press kit, press kit, press kit, press kit. What is this? I don't know. Maybe like a thing that sticks to the back of your phone? Maybe like a phone grip? A book, a little narwhal themed notebook. What else is in here? Oh, and this is actually, I'm really excited about this. So if you saw the video where I was very loopy and like almost dropped the fans at the end of the video, that company was really sweet and actually gave me one of these. It comes with like a little carrying case too, which is so cute. So if you're traveling somewhere hot and you want the little personal fan with you, I thought this was really cute that they have the little bag for it too. And they gave this to me because it's coming out very soon. And I told them I wanted to cover it when it comes out. So it's not out yet. But it's a little personal fan that you can put essential oils right in here. Like you put a drop or two of essential oil in there and then you have a personal fan so that when you're like out and about, if it's really hot out, you can blow nice smelling air at yourself. Like I made a joke in my video, like if you're at Comic-Con and it smells like fart, because sometimes Comic-Con smells like fart. I've been going for so long. We all know it happens, okay? Anytime you're around a lot of other people, it can happen. You can just blow nice smelling air at yourself while you're in line or whatever. That's what I thought I could be. Anti-fart fan. But a friend of mine had also made the joke, so I stole it for my video. Also for like anyone who gets hot flashes, just having a little personal fan with you could be really nice. But yeah, it's just a little rechargeable personal fan that you can put essential oils right here. So it will be sold on Amazon soon. So I was like, oh my gosh, perfect for my Amazon live streams. So I did the thing where I was like, hey, I'd love to connect with you after this because I'd love to report on this for Amazon when it's available. And they were like, oh, you can just have one. We have them here. Here you go. So that was super nice of them. Super, super nice of them. So this is my favorite swag that I got at CES because I'm definitely going to use this. And I'm definitely going to review this when it's officially out. You went to a game shop that happened to be running a Yu-Gi-Oh event and you couldn't go inside because the smell was so awful. Oh no. Fake You says, what is CES? It's the Consumer Electronics Show and it's held every year in Las Vegas at the very beginning of the year. And it is a wild show. Is the fan only handheld or can you put it on a desk as well? I mean, this is what it looks like. The bottom is flat enough that if you wanted to set it on a desk, you could, but it wouldn't point up. It's really not meant to be a desk fan. It's meant to be a little handheld on the go fan. But there are lots of desktop fans out there if that's what you're looking for. I used to have a desktop fan that was USB-A powered, so I could just plug it in to my computer when I was working. Okay, and that is it. That's the end of the swag Trisha brought home. That's it. But yeah, I definitely know people that walk up to every booth and ask what they can have. And to me, that's so cringe. It's so cringe. Like, I am only interested in making business connections when I'm at CES for, like, companies I'm interested in working with or reviewing their products in the future. I'm not just, like, there trying to get free stuff. You know, especially because Nate's always like, get rid of the stuff. Like, I can't imagine just trying to, like, bring home as much stuff as possible. Yes, you can use old case fans for a desktop fan. That's a very economical way to go. Let's see. Pokemon Trainer Tech Guy. Look up The Simpsons Pooter Toot Express on YouTube after my audition. Okay. I do think The Simpsons are very funny. You think that one thing you pulled out is a thing that goes on the back of your phone to hold your cards and cash like a wallet. Oh! That makes sense. I would never use that. I'd be too afraid that my cards and cash would fall out. I could never just have them on a clip like that. I actually use a little slider case, and my cards and stuff go in the back of my phone that way, but it's a slider case that also is RFID blocking. How much CES swag will show up on eBay this week? Do people do that? I guess they do. North says, as someone who exhibited at shows, we have to haul it all home, so please take as much as you can. Yeah, I know that's the case too. But yeah, I mean, you guys know, I like to use a lot of it for giveaways. I can't imagine selling it on eBay. No, I like to use a lot of it for giveaways if it's a product I can't use myself or a thing I can't use myself. Right? Like, Nate will probably be like, we don't need that water bottle, babe. Nate's least favorite swag is mugs because we have too many mugs in our house. I'm going to get the food that my husbando so lovingly brought into the room. It was very nice of him. Look at her. Wait, I need you to see. What my husband brought me. So, chips and guac. They're on the side. There's also some grapes over here. So, grapes, chips and guac, and then Christmas cookies. And two things that look like gummies. What are these gummies? Oh, I bet these gummies are the elderberry zinc I asked him to buy. because I'm trying not to get sick. Although I'm not going to have the zinc right now because I'm having emergency. And I'm pretty sure, fact check me on this, chat. I'm pretty sure vitamin C and zinc like do the opposite of each other. So you don't want to take them at the same time. You want to spread them like 3 or 4 hours apart. Isn't that correct? Oh. CES just stocks you up for the level 5 hype trains and nerdy goodie redemptions. I mean, it does. I have so many. I love this just Christmas cookies. This is my husband going, we need to get rid of these. Can you eat them, please? The same way he does with swag. He's clearing out. Clearing out. I like the grapes, though. That's a great stream snack. Oh, Emergency already has zinc in it. I thought I had read somewhere that vitamin C and zinc cancel each other out, but maybe that's not true. Maybe that's a lie, this thing that I thought I read, or maybe I'm just misremembering it. I do have the memory of a goldfish as I get older. I always feel horrible at events when people recognize me and I don't recognize them, and I just want to say, like, hey, my memory has deteriorated over the last, 3 years, for sure. Don't know what to blame it on, but it's a real thing. It's not you, it's me. That's what I always want to say to people, but I know they think it's an excuse. C and zinc can be taken together. Okay. Yeah, so I've got, this looks like fudge. Maybe like a chocolate peanut butter fudge. This is one of my favorite Christmas cookies. It's like cookie with a Reese's peanut butter cup in the middle. Yum. And the rest of these are some kind of peppermint something or other. Probably not getting enough sleep. It could be that. I mean, honestly, I'm willing to take any reason for my memory loss besides early onset dementia. Anything other than that, you can tell me it's perimenopause. You can tell me it's not getting enough sleep. You can tell me it's ADD brain from multitasking too much. Really, anything other than early onset dementia is fine by me at this point. You have to memorize 30 Amazon items each week. You have a great memory. I have a really, it could be, you could tell me it's long-term COVID. I have a really excellent short-term memory. My long-term memory is just awful. That's what it is. So my short-term memory, like at CES, I can go up to a booth and say, tell me about these products. Listen to them talk to me for 20 minutes and then regurgitate it into a 5-minute video. I can do that really easily. My brain is really good short-term memory-wise. And it's been wired that way because that's what I do for my hosting jobs. I do it for CES, I do it for Amazon, I do it for all of these, where it's ingest talking points, put them in a way that makes sense in my brain, reiterate them in a way that I think will make sense to viewers. My brain is very good at that. But if you ask me 3 weeks from now what I saw at CES, I'll be like, I don't know. Go watch the video. I have to watch the video to remind myself. You're the reverse. To be fair, memory is a muscle skill. If you're not drilling it, it's going to fade. I know. My short-term memory is awesome. My long-term memory is not good. Joker Joe, you're the same way, but you also have ADD, so it might be that. Yeah, I don't know. I do the best I can. But Nate will always be like, remember when we saw this musical? And I'm like, oh no, I've never seen that musical. And he was like, yes, you have. We went together and we saw this person and this person in it. And after Act 1, you said you really liked the set design or, blah, 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 blah. And when he's telling me these things, I think, oh, that vaguely sounds familiar. But if my husband is remembering it this clearly and telling me things I said, it must have happened. But there's just a hole in my memory where that would be. It's wild. You can remember a commercial from when you were 5 years old, but you forget the name of someone who just introduced themselves. The hard thing for me with names of people that just introduce themselves is I'm a visual person. So if I don't see the name written out, it goes in one ear and right out the other. I don't... and I'll say a lot of times, I'll try to say, can you tell me your first name again? I'm sorry, can you tell me your first name again? Because unless I see it visually written out, it's really hard for me. So what I Cherney says, but also look at all the instances where you train, intake, use, dump. It's not like you're going to need XYZ product details 6 months after you stop pitching it. You've trained your brain to let go of the long-term info. I do think it's that. I think it's a lot of that. But yeah, I mean, and CES is actually great because everyone has their names on their badges. So that's very helpful for me in a situation like CES as opposed to like a party, like a networking party. If people don't have name tags on, it's really tricky for me. So the other thing that I try to do that I think helps with this is I will ask people for their social media handle in the moment. And they'll say, oh no, here's my card. And I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want your card. I will lose that. And I also don't want to waste one of your cards. Like, no need to waste trees. Just give me your social media handle and I'll follow you right now. And then I will have a way that your face is right next to your name. So visually, I can see your face, your name. And ideally, you will pop up in my feed every now and then. So I will continuously see your face next to your name. And then next time I see you, because I have that visually locked in and I've been seeing it over and over, I will remember who you are. But that's what I try to do. Like, I'm like, give me your handle right now. And a lot of them are like, you don't want to follow me. I only post like family pics. And I'm like, that is not the point. The point is, like, if you don't want me to follow you for privacy concerns, I totally get it. But like, my point in following you is so that I can continuously see your face next to your name and remember this. Because sometimes I'll have a wonderful conversation with someone and think, oh, I really enjoyed my conversation with that person. I hope I get to connect with them again. And then 2 weeks later, have no idea what that person's name is. And people are like, oh yeah, you forgot me because clearly I was forgettable or you didn't care. And I'm like, no. I love that conversation. I just, brain not braining. Mr. RM Top Gun says that moment when you only remember the online name and not his or her actual name, that happens to me all the time. All the time. And it's because I follow their content. Firelight says, I'm sitting here listening and agreeing with the memory thing. Then I ask hubby if I see a tattoo ring on you. He says, yes. Did I forget you talking about it? Yes, I did. Yeah. How funny. Sweet Prize says, the only memory I have is I can only remember song lyrics. Oh. JMD Groovy says, I do the same thing when I meet cosplayers at cons. I take a picture with them, with their phone, and IG handle up so I remember who they are after. So smart. So smart. But yeah, I think especially at like a CES, my brain is just trying to take in so much information all at once that it can't hold on to it all. Even though I really want to. You never like any of your pictures or face to post anyway. I understand that. But if you could like, I don't know, get some business headshots done or something. So you have like one picture of yourself that you're like, all right, I like this one picture. I don't know. My last round of headshots, I'm very like, on. I don't know if I love them. When are we getting external memory? Like from Ghost in the Shell? Or the ability to just download information like in the Matrix. I'm just going to download this skill set. Werlin says, I'm terrible at picturing things in my mind. I probably couldn't describe my best friend to a sketch artist, but I recognize things I've seen fine. I'm kind of the same way. Nate actually finds it really difficult when we're talking about like things we want to fix in the house because I can't describe what I want it to look at like, but I can tell you in a picture what I like and what I don't. But yeah, I can't just like look at a room and know what I want it to look like. I can just look at other pictures and tell you things I like and things I don't. It makes it hard for him to like ideate with me. None of us could afford extra memory right now. But yeah, so in terms of CES stuff, I'm glad that I'm back now. And I'm glad Jen can relax a little now too. I essentially have, I have to look, 3 or 4 more videos that are still planned to go out that have already been edited. And now I'm just waiting for like client thumbs up. And And then I have 2 more videos that I filmed and like I don't know what to do with the footage. So might just put that out for funsies later if people aren't bored of CES stuff by then. This is the Height Y70 Touch. Yeah, I love it. In fact, let me show you something cool I just set up. So, Height was showing me their Nexus software at CES. I love this software because you know I have my issues with some other hardware companies' software. Cough, cough, Corsair, cough, cough. And the Nexus software that Height puts out to control this case and to control other stuff is open source. So if you don't want to like download Corsair IQ software, but you want to control your IQ stuff with Nexus, you can now do that, which is great. And so look at this. Let me show you something fun. So I can, and I made this a Twitch reward now. If you want to control the RGB on my PC, we can do that. So here, let's make it all blue. It only made that one thing blue. Never mind. I thought it was going to be really impressive and change all my fans. That kind of changed everything. I still need to learn how to do it. But I can essentially change my RGB from this touchscreen over here. Not screen mirror. Like right now it's working for my pump. I'm changing the color of the pump right now. With that. But I wanted to do my fans too. I'm probably going to have to go in settings. And mess stuff up. What's that air horn for? What's that air horn for? But yeah, let me see. Just like a static color. Light blue, dark blue. I can make it pink. But this is the idea, is that I'll have it change the whole PC as a channel point thing. Let's make it purple for right now. I feel good about that. Okay. Now I'll make it go like pink to blue. Pink to purple to blue, like a gradient. And it's just going to like go back and forth. But yeah, I can change that now using my Nexus software on my touchscreen, which is cool. Love. All right, now how do I get back? Ha ha ha. Now I can't go back. Oh well, I'll figure it out. Oh, I just somehow accidentally launched Audacity. Clearly, that still needs some more troubleshooting. You hate full RGB, you just set yours to a static color. I like rainbow and like a slight wave. I like that a lot. All right, I have a text message. Who's it from? Nothing that's CES related. Although Fitbit wants to let me know that I absolutely soared on my goals last week. Yeah, because I had like 20,000 steps per day. I didn't soar on my sleep goals, though. I was like 20,000 steps per day around CES on 3 to 4 hours of sleep. Yeah, slow wave gradient's my vibe. Your computer's on the floor facing away from you, so the lights don't matter. But they weren't optional. But yeah, I'll get this to be super cool. Super cool. I love that I'm bouncing back and forth now between coffee, chips and guac, grapes, emergency, and Christmas cookies. Catch22 says I'm way too old to cap 20,000 steps on 4 hours of sleep. Dude, you and me both. I was like dying. Coffee. Get your coffee, Churney Adventures. So, it was so funny. Shout out to my friend Ray, who works at AMD. On the last day I was at CES, I had an appointment with Ray in the middle of the day. And I'm like holding my big bags, like my bag of filming equipment and the swag I had gotten that morning. And I'm like coming down the hallway for my meeting with my buddy Ray. And I'm walking down the hall. And the first thing he says to me is, "How do you look so bright and energetic when I feel dead inside?" And I was like, oh no, Ray. It's very kind of you to say that. I also feel like I've been hit by a truck. We're on like day 5 of CES and we're all dying. We're all dying. But we still all have appointments. So we're like, hi, I'm here. Even though on the inside, we're all like, at this point of CES, right? It was very funny. It was very, very funny. I was like, do not be fooled by the pleasant exterior. We're all in full zombie mode by this point. It was very silly. It was very, very silly. And he and I just like, he was like, can I get you a water? Can I get you anything? And like just hugged it out and commiserated. Because by the last day of CES, your brain is just mushy bananas. Imagine carrying all that stuff and someone at a CES luggage booth shows you the rideable luggage. I did get to check out the rideable luggage. It was great. I want to get one. I have to look at what airports allow them and which ones don't. But even for like shoots and a show like CES, carrying all my filming stuff, game changer. I want to get one. I think they're awesome. The people at the booth said... They were like, they had a sign. It was like, special offer for influencers. And I was like, oh no, here we go. But I said, I see your sign. I like your suitcase. I think it's really cool. And they were like, we're offering a discount to creators if you want to get one. And I was like, oh, that's super nice. She was like, just email me and let me know. And I was like, okay, that's super nice. Thank you. So I haven't like looked further into that. I don't know how much the discount is. It might be like 5%. I don't know. I have no idea. But I want to see where they're allowed. And then what the price is, because I still don't know what the price point is, and see if I can get them. You saw the scooter? You're on coffee number 9. I'd be zooming. In fact, I went out to dinner Thursday night. So Thursday night is when Nate and Logan got into town. And my cousin was in town. And his family, which is why my boys came into town. And we all sat down for dinner, and they were like, Trisha, can you calm down? Because I was still zooming. I had just come from my appointment with Corsair, and I was like, CES. And they were like, I need you to chill. And I was like, no, this is the only way I'm surviving, though, is this, like, state of mind. But yeah, the carry-on scooter that I was riding... If you look at my best and weirdest of CES video, is like towards the end, I'm like, bye-bye CES, and I kind of ride away on it. Oh, well, I was in CES? You saw me? Oh, I saw the scooter is what you were saying. Yeah, I saw the scooter. True. Were there any game companies showing off anything at CES? Do you mean like... software companies? Because like Razer was there, MSI was there, Asus was there, Gigabyte was there. But do you mean like game development companies? Not really. It's not a software convention. It's all hardware. But I like hardware. I geek out about hardware. There was a game, Crimson Desert was maybe showing in... They were showing in somebody else's booth, but I don't remember. No, software developers aren't really there. Unless, like I said, it's like... if their game specifically works like with AMD's FSR, then maybe their game will be on display in AMD's press room or something like that. But it would have to have a hardware partner tie-in to be at CES. What did I think of the Stranger Things finale? I liked it. I wish they had given us more insight into the, sorry, no, it's not her name, Sarah Connor storyline. Dr. K, that's her name. I wish we had got more insight into that. No spoilers. I'm going to give my thoughts without spoiling, in case people haven't watched it yet. But yeah, I wish we had gotten more insight into that. Because I feel like that was a little... left out, like, just hanging there, you know? But I thought they did a great job. It's exactly the wholesome 80s movies vibes that I wanted from it. You thought it was a little drawn out? I didn't mind. Honestly, it's been a series I've been following for darn near a decade. So, because it came out in 2016? Or I guess a whole decade. Now that it's 2026. Yeah. It's been a series I've been following for a decade. I'm okay with a 2-hour finale. I have the zoomies after a long shift, for sure. Yeah, Rob, that was kind of my feeling on it, right? You literally just started watching Stranger Things a month ago. I'm jealous. I'm jealous that you get to experience it for the first time. That's super cool. I wish I had that. I was playing a lot of ball pit during my travels because that's easy to play on my ROG Ally. I wanted to play Inscription, but I couldn't get the controls to work. Catch 22 says, honest opinion, it's okay. You didn't love it? It's okay if you didn't. Nothing mind-blowing. It's a very nostalgia-inducing. Like, for those of us that grew up on, like, Sandlot and Goonies and that kind of stuff, it's very nostalgia-inducing. And I liked that. Like, I missed that feeling of that kind of storytelling. And that's what Stranger Things was for me. You're playing Ball Pit right now. I love Ball Pit. Hey, Hot Coffee. How are you? Good to see you. But yeah, it's nice to be home. Steam input might be able to fix that for me. I just didn't want to have to troubleshoot it on the plane. And I was on the plane when I was trying to figure it out. But yeah, I didn't want to have to troubleshoot it on the plane. But I'm so excited to finally be back in studio because now I can really get a head start on all the big plans I have for 2026. So I was saying in the beginning of the stream, this feels like New Year's Day to me because I'm finally back and in a good place where I can start to incorporate new workout planning goals, new content strategy planning goals. I really do want to upload more on my YouTube channel for 2026. Oh, Sergeant Hardcore says you're a sweetheart. Also SourceFed forever. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by the Twitch channel. And yes, all the SourceFed folks. That was such a magical time of the internet. And it's wild to me how long ago it was now. Someone I was having dinner with this CES mentioned that back in the day they went on a couple dates with Big Turney and they were like, you knew her, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I did. It was like just such a wild blast from the past. Time is a strange thing. It feels like just yesterday I was like having to take BRB breaks on stream to go like breastfeed my kid. Like that feels like just yesterday. Now he's old. It's been a hot minute. It's been a real hot minute since SourceFed. Speaking of SourceFed and babies, Lee Newton's baby is a thing. I keep trying to message her on Instagram. Congratulations, but I'm sure she's super busy right now. But that's very exciting if you follow Lee on Instagram. And Joker Joe said, I started watching SourceFed when I was 16 and I just turned 30 this past week. That's amazing. A Christmas Eve baby is very on brand for them. No one loves Christmas more than Lee. Except for now maybe her baby. Yeah, SourceFed started 2011, 2012. Somewhere in there. Do I remember doing an episode of Hard Science? No, I do not. But that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Have I watched the IT Crowd? Not a ton of it, but I've seen like an episode or two. Ooh, you're snacking on apples, peanut butter, and some cheese? Love that. That's awesome. Catnip says, I'm still sad SourceFed ended, but I wouldn't want it back. Everyone has gone their own way and started doing their own things, and I wouldn't change that. Yeah. It was like a nice little time capsule back in the day, right? And I love that those videos haven't all been deleted because a lot of channels, the video libraries have all been deleted. So I like that they're still there if anyone wants to go back and re-experience that time capsule. It's actually really funny for me to go back and like look at who I was back then because it's very different than who I am now. But I mean, a lot has happened in my life since then. I got married, I had a kid, I now own a production company. Like my life is very different now than it was then. I'm also able to report on more of what I love now than I was back then. It coming back would feel kind of forced at this point. Honestly, I feel like it would feel a lot like the resurrection of G4. And kind of forced is a good way to say it. Like when G4 was brought back, it just didn't feel right. Trying to take something that we loved back then and make it modernized, I think is really tricky to do. Not to say that it can't be done. I think it can, but I think it's very hard to do it right. I have way more creative freedom now. And I agree. Smosh is the closest, I think, to what SourceFed. Smosh now is the closest thing, I think, to what SourceFed was doing back then. But yeah, G4 is a good example of that. Kind of like redoing Seinfeld. I don't know. Maybe. Rab says, nah, G4 would blow up today. No, they tried and it failed. There was no blowing up. They tried it and it failed. Just a couple years ago. It was not good. It was not good. It was like part trying to bring back the old G4 but modernize it, but it wasn't done in a way that felt like it made a lot of sense to a lot of people. And I think they were trying to bring in two very different audiences that didn't really gel either. And also, a lot of the content that everyone loved on G4 is now available online in other places. Right? Rob, yeah, they tried to reboot. They put a ton of money into it. And it rebooted for like a year and a half. Austin Creed was part of it. And yeah, it just imploded. They tried to have a TV channel as well as internet and social media content, which was a very ambitious go at it. But they were trying to do both television and digital media out of one production house. And they had some really interesting ideas of like, well, if we film it like this, but then we can edit it differently for each places. Again, really fascinating. But I remember when I talked to them for a little bit, because I was in talks to do some content with them, I was like, that is a really ambitious goal. I was very honest. I said, how's that going for you? And it clearly wasn't going very well because they didn't last very long. Yeah, G4 doesn't really work in a world that has YouTube and Twitch, is the short answer. Very well said, Catch-22. People now are able to get that type of content in other places. Austin Creed was great on it. I thought a lot of people were really great on it, honestly. You said it felt like they were doing too much and rushing too fast. Well, I mean, again, trying to appease the linear TV gods and the digital TV audiences at the same time. That's a really ambitious goal. With like one production house, right? Now, I don't know anything. Akodu Roku said, I'm still half convinced the whole G4 relaunch was a tax shelter. I don't know anything about the money behind the scenes. I was not privy to any of that chatter, so I don't know. Beardtastic says, pick one lane, do it well. I think if they would have launched with a pick one lane, do it well, figured that out, and then tried to expand, maybe that would have worked better than launching and trying to do it all at once. I don't know. Joker Joe says, a lot of those things were successful because of when they came out. Trying to force it into the modern day doesn't always work. But yeah, I mean, for SourceFed, I don't think you could launch a SourceFed and it would feel the same right now. Smosh is the closest, I think. But also, Smosh has a legacy behind it at this point. Like, all of the main faces on Smosh have been doing that for 10 years now almost, right? Yeah, because when Smosh, the new class, as I like to say it, everyone that came on after Lasercorn and Joven and Mari, like the Courtneys and the Shanes and the Noahs and everyone that's on it right now, they all came on when I left SourceFed, so that would have been 2015. Hi, Mr. Yasman. How are you? Mr. Yasman, I'm so tired. I have not spoken to either Adam Sessler or Kevin Pereira in many moons, but the last time I saw Kevin, he was doing well. Yeah. Oh, Easy Allies. I love those folks. They're making some great content, but I think their content is more editorial focused than SourceFed's was. Like, I think Easy Allies, I don't think of like a SourceFed. They are an ensemble channel like SourceFed was, but they're doing more hard-hitting journalism than SourceFed ever tried to do. But I love what they're doing. I love the Easy Allies folks. I don't know Project Electric Playground. I don't know that. Oh, you guys are saying G4 had Electric Playground. Okay. Guac fed today. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. My husband makes a killer guacamole. Find you a partner that makes great guacamole. Or make it yourself. But this is like a goal, I think. This should be like, you know, when people are like, I'm making my dating wish list of like all the things I'd want in a partner. Makes great guacamole. Highly recommend. Okay, I'm making that eyebrow face because Mr. Yasman said, speaking of CES, I saw IGN posted a video where an adult toy company is making products to work with video games. So there are always companies like that at CES. But there was one company in particular that was very in your face with with their marketing this year. They were everywhere. And a bunch of outlets covered them, IGN being one of them. And it was interesting to see the audience reaction because whenever I see those companies at CES, I'm like, they're cool that that's doing, like, it's cool that they're doing that. That's not my thing. I'm not going to report on it because it's not my thing. But when IGN reported on it, it made like a lot of people angry. And it was interesting because I didn't think that wasn't the response I was anticipating. Like, I thought people would think like, oh, this is silly and weird, and then move on. But some people got really mad about it. But I mean, they did cover the one device that was very in your face of CES. And actually, not from that company, but there's always a sexual health tech part of CES that's all adult toys. That's what it is. And it's been there for as long as I've been going to CES. I think it's grown since I've been going to CES, no pun intended. But there was actually I was in that section of CES for one brief period this year because, and I'm so bummed it didn't work out, there was a company that made a lot of adult toys, but they also claimed to have a working AI companion doll that's like a life-size AI companion girlfriend. And I was like, can I please interview her? Because I thought for my robots video or my best and weirdest of CES, it would be really fun to just like interview this doll. Because you know, their whole thing where they're like, she's your real girlfriend that you can like take with you places and stuff. You know, she's gonna be wonky. You know, the things that they're prioritizing about this lady are not that she's a good dinner date. I would be shocked if that's what they were actually prioritizing. So I wanted to interview her, like as if we were out on a dinner date. What would that conversation look like? I really wanted to put that in the video of like talking to this girl and seeing how it goes. But of course, every time I went to their booth, she wasn't working. And it's probably because they were getting a reaction of like, oh, she's so weird. I hear one outlet, before she broke, I guess, actually did get some kind of interview with her, and it was bad. But I was like, no, I wanted the footage of that being bad. I wanted that clip, okay? But yeah, it made me think of, what's that very famous play that was made into a movie. They made a movie of it. It was a play made into a movie where a guy has like his robot girlfriend. But she's not really a robot. She's like just a doll. Not her. No, there's a play. What is that play? Here, wait. I'm going to Google it. Play where man brings doll girlfriend around. Lars and the Real Girl. It's called Lars and the Real Girl. Thank you. Gooby got it. Gooby got it faster than my searching. Lars and the Real Girl. And they made a movie out of it too. But no, her was like an AI companion detached from a body. And there were lots of AI companion lovers at CES this year that didn't have a body. But the one that had a body, made by an adult toy company, I was like, look, I'm sure their priorities are on the adult toy aspects of this girl and not how lifelike of a companion she is, which just makes me laugh that marketing is marketing her as a companion. And I'm like, you're not prioritizing her as a companion. You're prioritizing her as a tool for people to gratify themselves. Is Ryan Gosling in that film? He might be. As a theater major, I read the play before I saw the movie. But yeah, if you've never seen that movie, go watch it now. It is Ryan Gosling. Yeah. Go see it because now it's more pertinent than ever. Joker Joe says, yeah, take it out to a restaurant and see how that works out. That's almost how they were marketing it. And I was like, no way. That's why I was like, I got to interview this girl. So I actually wrote back to the PR lady that was working for this company. And I was like, look, I don't want to come tour your booth and see any of your toys. Not interested in that. What I want to do is interview this doll. And she was like, okay. And I made an appointment. And then, yeah, doll not working. Womp, womp. Paladin, I don't know. Do you wheel them around in a hand truck? Some of the robots this year could walk, but I guarantee that girl could not. Here, wait, let me see if I can find a picture of her, because it's bizarre. Okay, here. Okay. Let's see. Some people got interviews with her, I guess. Okay, I'm going to try to open this image in a new tab so that I can show you this. It's going to be a little blurry because I tried to make it bigger, but here, wait. That's the doll. That's the doll that I really wanted to interview for my video. And I'm really bummed I couldn't. But this guy, I guess, got to interview her. Oh, this was a CNET? It might be CNET. But yeah, that was the doll. So creepy, right? Slightly, yeah, it's got slightly Megan vibes. Here's someone on TikTok, I guess, while she was working. Oh, but I don't want to see that video. That's like someone playing with her mouth. I'm not interested in that. I just want to see her talking. Let's see if this is a video of her talking or not. Shout out this creator. Sorry, I know we like don't have sound right now. But like, up close she looks okay. I don't want to see him talking. I want to see her talking. Is he just standing next to her while she's not doing anything? Because that's the experience I got. Nah, I wanted to see her be weird. It makes you feel really uncomfortable, as it should. Yeah, so strange. So strange. But I feel like we've all seen, I don't know if you've seen them. My algorithm's weird because it's into like tech stuff. Have you seen videos online where it's like, or one specific video, I forget where I saw it or whose company it was, but it was like a handsome older white-haired gentleman in a suit taking his AI doll girlfriend out to dinner, out to fancy dinner, right? And just taking her places with him. He takes her on vacations, all this kind of stuff in this video. And there were a lot of comments online that I saw from more of your like incel-y kind of guys that were like, thank God, now we don't need women anymore. We can just buy these dolls. Or like, ha, feminists got what's coming to them now that we have this. And like, let me just tell you, if you're considering that as a viable alternative, no real lady wants you. Like, you're not the prize you think you are. If that's your, like, it's you being like, we'll stick it to the ladies now by not wanting them. If you're the type of person that's saying that, have at it. Go. Yeah, it's not the win they think it is. It is definitely a self-own. You'd imagine they're just joking. I hope they are. I hope they are. No, call me bonkers, but I prefer to be with a dude that likes me. And like genuinely likes ladies. Some of Nate's best friends are women. Old gray man! Old gray man is making me laugh so hard, Seb. You deserve the first short circuit you get. Oh my goodness. Rob says, never trust a man who owns dolls. Look at my collection of action figures on the shelf. Okay, me too, though. We're in the same boat there. Action figures are entirely different. Can you imagine the ER stories? Dude. But yeah, I was bummed I didn't get to interview the doll. I really wanted to interview the doll. But like, even just that quick Google search that I just did, all the people covering the doll, she was just standing there awkwardly and they were like pressing on her skin and talking about the different sensor points she has. And I'm like, no. You can't say, then you can say she's a toy that's human shaped. But if you're trying to sell her as an AI companion doll, I need some companionship. Or else false advertising. There are dolls in there or whatever the heck that thing was. Oh. Landar, thank you for gifting a sub to Old Gray Man. Thank you. Welcome to the Dragon Riders officially, Old Gray Man. And thank you again for that chuckle. That was really funny. You just saw a video of her talking and she sounds like Megan. Yeah, I heard there is a video of her talking out there and like one eye's a little wonky. Like I heard it's very disturbing. And I'm like, no, that's the footage I wanted. But alas, there were actually a lot of booths I had appointments at specifically for robot stuff that when I got there, it would be like, I don't know, 11 a.m. And they'd be like, oh, we're not demoing the robot till 3. And I was like, then why did I come all the way over to your booth? Like, why are you paying all this money to be here at CES if you're only demoing your robot at one small window of the day? That seems silly to me. Demo your robot, unless your robot doesn't work. Just saying. Oh, the doll cost $4,000 to $8,000? See, $4,000 to $8,000, I feel like she should be able to sit down and play board games with you. Wild, man. They forgot to charge it, maybe. Or maybe the charge ran out too fast because they weren't anticipating the Wi-Fi struggles. I think a lot of brands at CES don't anticipate the Wi-Fi struggles that are there. And they're real. They're bad. Like a lot of the trouble that Jen and I had trying to get content out this week was that it took me so long to get the footage to Jen on crappy CES Wi-Fi that like Jen couldn't even start looking at the footage that I had captured until at least 24 hours later. But that's a problem every year at CES, and there's just nothing you can do about it. The hotel Wi-Fi is all bad because everyone's there for CES and everyone's a power user. So everyone is trying to use this Wi-Fi at exactly the same time, and it just kills it. So, like, when I go to upload my footage for the day, it's like, upload will be completed in 8.5 hours. And so I'm like, okay, I'll let it upload overnight, and hopefully it'll all be there in the morning. And then Jen and I are like, okay, here's the files that didn't upload. Or I wake up to, like, upload failed. Or, like, that was a lot of our delay and stuff, which is why all my YouTube videos went out at the end of the week. Some of my short form videos are going to be going out early this week because it's just everything's backed up. But at least everybody's in the same boat, honestly. Even people that are editing on site, you have to upload the video over that crappy Wi-Fi, and that takes hours. I remember even back in the SourceFed days that being a problem. Because we'd have editors on site, and they'd edit on site, and it would take them 10 hours to upload the video to YouTube after it was done. So unless you are like a CNET or an Engadget and you're paying for a dedicated line on the show floor, which from what I hear is incredibly expensive. Someone was telling me it starts at like $20,000. Their Wi-Fi packages start at $20,000 for CES. So most brands don't pay for that. Then you're just dealing with the crummy Wi-Fi that's available. CP says, I've never been, and even I know about the Wi-Fi troubles. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Mr. Yasman says, you don't have your own Wi-Fi dongle? Even if you do, that's working off cell signal, and the cell signal in all of Las Vegas and in all the convention areas is absolute dog poo during CES. Yeah, Paladin, don't stay in that rabbit hole for too long. No. You get in, you get out. Like I said, I wanted a short clip for my video where I'm interviewing the girl, and then we're out. I told them I don't want a booth tour. Nope. But yeah, the Wi-Fi situation at CES, at least everyone's in the same boat. The YouTube video was enough for you, but you went further? No. Like Joker Joe said. No. Could Starlink work? I have not had good personal experiences with Starlink. So I don't know. How expensive was Vegas food? I mean, like any resort you go to, the food's going to be more expensive. Like I think a ham and cheese omelet was like $18 in the morning for a crappy ham and cheese omelet. And if you go to the nicer restaurants, you're like Huevos Rancheros are $28, but at least then it's good Huevos Rancheros. The $18 ham and cheese omelet was not good. But Vegas. I don't worry about that because I feel like it's all a tax write-off, and honestly, I didn't have a lot of time to eat anyway. How much is McDonald's in Vegas? I don't know. I didn't stop at McDonald's. My belly can't handle that anymore. That's not a thing I can do. But I didn't stop to eat very often, honestly, because I didn't have time. So what I normally do for trade shows like Las Vegas is I pack a lot of Nutri-Grain bars and snacks, and I usually buy a bag of trail mix, and I keep that in my purse. So throughout the day, I'm just like handfulling trail mix or noshing on a Nutri-Grain bar to get through. I don't know. I did hear McDonald's because Paolo says McDonald's is the same as other places, but I don't know if that's true. Joker Joe said, I don't trust my internet going through that whack job satellite network. I also am not a fan of Starlink for that reason. But I had a cousin that was like setting it up once, and I was there while he was setting it up. And once he got it set up, I just connected to it and did a speed test. And granted, this was my only real experience with it, but it was super unstable. So it'd be like good speeds, poor speeds, poor speeds, good speeds, poor speeds, cut out totally, good speeds. So like if you're using it to answer emails or something like that, fine. But if you're trying to like watch streamed content like on Netflix, or you're trying, God forbid, to like do a Twitch stream or something like that off of it, I can't see it being viable. Oh, Paolo says, I'm facetiously talking about Vegas in general. I assume people are asking about the Strip. Yeah, I don't know. I was really only on the Strip for this convention. That's what I normally do. McDonald's are more expensive at the airport. Yeah. And I do agree that like having some internet is better than no internet in isolated places, for sure. Like, however we can get, for students in particular, however we can get more information and access to students as they're learning, or like communities that otherwise don't have a lot of other options to learn about what's going on in the world, I think that's really great. But for something like the Las Vegas Strip, I don't know that it's a smart play. Beef Pan says, I used to be in network tech at a school that had satellite downlink, dial uplink, and it was so janky and bad. I can see that. Yeah, it's just, I would love for there to be the perfect solution. And maybe it will be unveiled at CES one day. And honestly, it's what people promised us about 5G. So people promised us 5G would bring these incredible speeds everywhere. I'm not seeing it. Are you? Taika said, isn't it time for 6G? A lot of the tech companies get really excited about their stuff. And like, I get it. It's their job to market it in a way that makes it sound exciting. But you have to wade through a sea of overpromising and underdelivering in anything tech. And it is really cool. Like, it is really fun to get caught up in the hype of like, this is going to be the next huge thing. Because I think we all want it to be true. Like, we are hyped too. But very rarely does it actually happen the way they say it's going to. Hearthhome says, where's my zombie brain from the 5G? Dude, I know. Nowhere to be found is the answer. Yes, there were lots of anti-5G people. I remember that. But I mean, part of that was also in 5G's marketing of being very elusive and vague. And I think that is not dissimilar from what's happening now with AI, is people are being very vague and elusive about what their AI capabilities are. Some of them they're calling AI and they're not even AI. And due to the lack of general understanding, it's causing so much more confusion and causing people to get really hyped up. And I mean, like I said before, there's definite reason to get hyped up and be angry. And right now we're all having AI shoved down our throats when we really don't want to. And that's also really bad. But do I think there's responsible ways that AI can be incorporated as tools into things we have to make them better? Like AI upscaling of your picture quality on your TV, right? As long as it's done in a way that's not mining your data and selling your data without your consent, could that be something that is useful? Right? Like, these are the conversations people need to have. And Beef Pan says taking AI features on everything just adds to the software bloat. Well, software bloat in general is really annoying. Agreed. Oh, people were saying the COVID vaccine gave you 5G, which really makes no sense. We made the 3D TV go away. Can we do the same with AI? Dude, I don't know. But yes, the 3D TV, thank God, went away. Everyone was pushing that for a while. I remember all of those at CES. The glasses 3D TVs and then the glasses-less 3D TVs. Wyvern's Grave says the crowds always bombard networks at the shows. They need to partner with all major network providers to get additional bandwidth and Wi-Fi providers. That would be really great if they did. But you know what? Sometimes, like, shout out to CES. Sometimes they really do make improvements that are good. Like, when I was at CES the first year after I had Logan, was the first year I had ever seen mommy pods. They're by a company called Mamava. But they're basically like these little lockers set up throughout CES for breastfeeding and pumping moms. So they had 2 Mamava pods the year that, right after I had Logan, that I needed to use them. There was like 1 at Venetian Sands Expo and 1 at the Vegas Convention Center. And because of that, it was like a very long wait to use them. But I used them and I was grateful. It's so much better than doing it in the public women's restroom. But this year at CES, there's now Mamava pods everywhere. All throughout CES, like multiple pods in each location. And I was like, yes. So there's some things they really do right in terms of making it better. I would love to see them figure out the connectivity issue, but I'm sure that's a much harder problem to solve. Did I see any cars? No, I actually barely went. I was not in the car section of CES at all. There was a BMW in the Amazon section, which will come out in my video this week. Actually, I was hoping it would come out today. But I'm still waiting on approvals on my second cut of it. And that BMW was showing off, you guessed it, AI features. There was a lot of that this year at CES. And then, did I see any other cars? I walked past this car. Well, it was really like a Winnebago trailer type thing, like a camper that expanded to be like a whole house size. But the line was so long to go inside it and walk around inside it that I didn't have time to do it. But it was like, you know how some camper trailers have like the pop outside? Picture that, but times 10. It was like the side popped all the way out, like full room size. And then another thing popped up from the middle. And another thing popped out the back. It was wild. I wanted to see it, but again, no time. Is BMW making the AI car from the new Naked Gun film? I don't know. Maybe. But lots of like Kit from Knight Rider style stuff that they're showing off. But now you're like, man, this is the car from the future that I always dreamed of. Then you have to wrestle with, yes, but it's now able to do all these things because of AI. And then figure out your feelings in there, right? But I tried to explain to someone in an Instagram comment that like, which like you can't explain anything of nuance in an Instagram comment. But I tried to explain like, we've been dealing with this dichotomy of handing over our data for convenience versus holding on to all our data, but then not getting any of those futuristic features. We've been dealing with that tug of war now for at least a decade plus. And so people need to find where they feel comfortable with that. If you feel comfortable handing over your data to make your tech work for you in a more convenient way, that is your call. But be aware of what they're doing with that data. Like, I just think we need to do more education, right? Versus the people that are like, I'm not willing to hand over anything. I don't want any of those features, which is also their decision to make. And anywhere you want to be on that spectrum is a personal decision that I wish people could be as educated on as possible and then make the decision that's right for them. We should be using it to manage mundane things like traffic and transportation, but instead we're using it for art. I agree. I don't like generative AI at all. I don't like generative artistic AI at all. But I do see a big difference between something that's like creating video games instead of humans or creating movies or stories instead of humans versus something that is being used as a tool to help those creative humans ideate in a different way. And that's more the conversation I want people to have. Zantillo says our whole company is being pushed to use Copilot. I feel old being so against it. Depends how you want to use it, I guess. Video game opponents becoming adaptive to your tactic is much better than AI creating art. Couldn't agree more. And honestly, we've had NPCs adapting to our playstyle in games for years. And like that seems to be a use of like NPC AI and enemy AI seems to be a use of it that people are generally okay with until now we have all this backlash. But yeah, those are the nuanced conversations I'd like people to have about it. Your last experience with AI was asking if you wanted to enhance or improve a text to your wife. Oh no. I'd hate to see what it auto-suggested. And also, putting AI in everything is horrific for our environment. So there's all the environmental concerns as well. Someone commented on one of my videos that they really liked the translator that I showed off because it would have an offline mode. So you wouldn't be using like AI servers every single time you needed to use it if you would use it in the offline mode. And it's like things like that it's okay, how can we
Have
think about
returned.
privacy? How can we think about, where the AI is training its models in a responsible way? Let's think about these things. And also, I would love it if they were regulated in some way, but I feel like that's asking too much right now. Hi, Be Right UK. How are you? And yeah, it's just the same big companies passing money back and forth. I know. The AI bubble's gonna pop. I mean, I kind of hope it does. You won't find a lot of people like a lot of tech people that say, I hope it does. I hope it does in terms of, I don't want to see the term AI slapped on everything as like a general term without people being specific as to what their product does. How is it using it? What does it do? Like every booth I went up to when they were like, make sure you mention that it has AI. I'm like, yeah, how? What is it doing? How is it using that? What is it doing? And how is it trained to do that? AI hand warmer. Yes, remember the AI hand warmer on Amazon? Ridiculous. That's the kind of crap I'm talking about. The AI hand warmer was ridiculous. The other problem is that when the bubble pops, our economy is going to tank and the government will bail them out. Welcome back to 2008, but more so. Lordy, I hope not. I hope not. But yeah, it's scary times we live in for a lot of reasons. And that was also really hard on me from a mental health standpoint to deal with during CES, trying to wrestle with all of the news at the same time that I was trying to take in all the CES stuff and get out CES content whilst wrestling with things that I find very disturbing on a personal level. And I actually had a very interesting conversation with my roomie, Shannon Snubs, about this while we were there, because we were both in a similar boat from like a mental standpoint on these things, where you're like, it's so hard to continue creating content in my niche when it feels like I'm having such a hard time dealing with life outside of that. For whatever reason. It could be because of news reasons. It could be because of personal reasons. It could be for a variety of reasons. But when your mental health is not great outside of the thing you're doing for work, in any industry, it can be difficult to show up for work in a meaningful way, right? No matter what you do. If you're a doctor, if you're whatever you do, it's difficult to show up for work in a meaningful way when your mind is elsewhere and upset with elsewhere. But I think it's a particularly weird space when you're a creator, because a lot of people see the content you put out as a reflection on your personal headspace. Even if, there's whereas like a lot of creators are like, yes, but I'm also here for work. Like, I'm here to report on this convention and that is my work. There's I think a lack of understanding sometimes, or not a lack of understanding, but people I know that are creators really need to try to like separate, divide and conquer and separate and compartmentalize as much as they can. But in that compartmentalization, to do what you need to do for your job, I think it can also be interpreted as being insensitive or not caring about other things that people are focused on. And I've really wrestled with that a lot personally in the last 5 to 10 years. It's been very hard for me. And, there's like this on the one hand, yes, people need an escape and a break from the things from the negative bombardment all the time. And so it's nice to have some content to go to that's a break from that. And also on this side of the argument, there's horrible things happening all the time somewhere. And like, I got trapped in a place for a while where I was like, I'm too upset about the horrible things. I can't put out any media. I'm too upset about the horrible things. And there's horrible things happening every day somewhere that I can focus on. So then I just stopped making content. And I was like, do I look for a new job, I guess? Do I have a career transition because there's so many horrible things? Or on the other side, it's like, you know, do you stay the course and have that respite, or do you go social media silent and or completely change your brand to be an activist of some sort or something like that? And I've tried to find a place in the middle where I'm conscientious of what's going on and raising money for things I find important when I can, and volunteering a lot of my time and energy outside of my public channels, to really try to keep my public channels focused on tech and video games, and to keep all of like my personal values and activism and that kind of stuff offline. And that's worked well for me for the most part, but at CES this week, it was very, very difficult. You honestly want to delete social media at the moment, but at the same time, you don't want to not know what's going on. I wrestle with that as well. Would I be interested in attending CES if not for job? Oh, yeah. I went to CES way before it was ever my job. The only way I could get in was being booth staff. I had been nerding out about going to CES for years, way before I was able to get in as media. But to Beef Pants' point, you said online activism is hard. It absolutely is. And the few times I've even like tried to tiptoe into those waters, I've been yelled at for doing it wrong. And I know there are people who their entire degree is in that stuff. And I don't feel like an expert or someone well equipped to like have an opinion that lots of people should see on that stuff. Like I know where my heart is, and I'm doing what I can outside of my online stuff to like try to feel right about that, if that makes sense. But I don't feel like I am personally equipped with the tools to like
have returned.
Be a very public activist. I don't feel like that's. Frequency Punch says wrong how? Like I used the wrong phrasing, or I said the wrong thing, or I said it at the wrong time. Like when I've tried to be vocal about things that are important to me. Like I remember there was one time I had a tweet where I was trying to support a cause I care about. And I referred to a certain community. And one of the first responses back I got was, how dare you refer to that community as if they're other than your own? You're doing more harm here than good. And I just deleted my post. Like I was trying to show love to what I felt was an underserved community. I was trying to show love and be supportive, but my use of the word community caused a backlash. And these are the things that I'm like, if you're going to talk about this stuff, you clearly need to be trained in how to talk about this stuff. And I am not, right? I'm going to make mistakes. I'm a normal human. And I had this conversation with my sister many years ago. And she was like, because you have a platform, you are not allowed to make mistakes. If you make a mistake, even in the idea of like, I'm trying to do this right, I'm trying to learn more. She was like, if you make a mistake on a public platform, it could all be over. Because people are going to interpret whatever you said how they want to interpret it. And you can't please everyone. But yeah, I mean, the few times I've tried to like give support to things that I think are important to support or highlight, I've been told I'm doing it wrong. And so like after a couple experiences, well, there were only a few experiences really like that, but just other experiences where I tried to voice support for something and apparently I did it incorrectly. I just said, you know what? I'm going to take all of my personal fundraising. So we do fundraisers here on Twitch, but other than that, like my personal charity work that I do and volunteer work that I do, it's all offline. It's all offline because I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. Mafe says, I can tweet whatever I want because no one reads them. That's what Nate says too. Nate's like, I just shout into the void. The problem is that so many don't understand nuance, just running around on the internet full of rage. It's true. It's true. And like, I'm the first one to say, like, I'm sure I can be educated and do better, right? So if I make a mistake, please help explain it to me so I don't do it again. But there's no room for that on the internet, I found. St. Clair says, how dare you advocate for sick children and not the healthy ones? Yes, it's that energy. I'm telling you, I got in trouble for sending so much love and support to a certain community. But the fact that I used the word community was apparently very wrong, and I was doing more harm than good. So, okay. What else should I say? To my friends? But I meant it to more people than just my friends. Curazar says, kind of weird to gatekeep being supportive to people. It's interesting because another one of my friends, if any of you follow the tabletop RPG space, you might know B. Dave Walters. Great guy. B. Dave, I had talked to him about that because I want to say my post wasn't BLM related, but it was around that time. And so I'd reached out to B. Dave and said, like, hey, I'm getting backlash for this post. Can you please help me understand what I did wrong if you have the time and headspace to do that, because we're friends. And I know even asking a friend that's a person of color to help me understand what I did wrong, they don't owe me anything. They're not a free consultant. Like, I know even that can be perceived as offensive. But I've known B. Dave for years, and he's a very, very kind and generous soul. And he was kind enough with his time to write back to me and say that he thought that particular instance was much more of an instance of people like gatekeeping supporters. And it actually made him mad enough that he tweeted about it. Back in the day when we used Twitter for these things. He had tweeted about it because he was frustrated enough about it. He was like, he tweeted something about like vilifying the people that are trying to be on our side is not the way. But I did have a really nice conversation with him. But like when you talk to like people, when you have a conversation with someone you know, it can be a nuanced conversation. But the internet has no room for that. So I just completely back out of the internet for that stuff. Yeah, very strange. But yeah, the internet, honestly, like social media in general, everything is so bite-sized that it's really hard for people to not just see a small bit of the picture and assume the entire picture. So all of that to say, like the video posted where I was like, here's this really cool TV tech. And also it has an AI feature for people not to go, she's promoting AI, she's the devil, she's part of the problem. Because I mentioned it has an AI feature. And I'm like, I would love to have a nuanced conversation with you about how potentially we could use certain types of AI to enhance our technological and television viewing experience versus how I think it's probably fluff and data mining and not good. One cannot do that in a 60-second video or in an internet comment or response. Beefpan says, I mod for a debater. I see all that stuff. It's a real furnace. How do you deal with it, Beefpants? St. Clair says some people are super weird when allies pop up. I had to have a serious conversation with someone about that. They'd be angry if people tried to help and if they didn't. It's honestly, it like I had one community on Discord that I'm a member of, and they were like, if you're an ally, identify yourself as an ally. And I wrote to the Discord mod and I was like, I thought we weren't allowed to identify ourselves as an ally. I thought that was bad. So I don't want to self-identify as an ally because I was under the understanding that someone else had to give me that name or something. And again, I wish I knew more. I wish I had studied the proper communication and nuance to all of this. But my area of interest is tech and gaming and sci-fi and fantasy. I am the first one to admit that is not my area of expertise. I would try as hard as I can to be as well versed in those things as I can be, but I cannot dedicate my full time to that. Yes, I agree. Curazar says a problem I have with the term AI overall is it's encompassing things that aren't Gen I or LLM, like machine learning or traditional AI in games. Couldn't agree with you more. Oh, Hearth Holmes, that's so nice of you to say. Thank you, my friend. I have a lot of people that are very, very close to me in my life that I care about very deeply, not only in this community, but outside of this community, like in my day-to-day life as well, that I want to support in many, many ways. And I try to do the best that I can. And my sister also told me, so my sister's a social worker, so she is more educated in a lot of like the proper speak on these things than I am and the proper terminology for these things than I am. And I've had some beautiful conversations with her. And she, in addition to telling me I'm not allowed to mess up because I'm on a public forum in the way that other people are allowed to like make mistakes and learn from their mistakes, she's been really great about telling me like the terminology is also constantly evolving. So a term that may have been the correct term 6 months ago may have evolved and there's now a more specific term to use for that. And because I'm not in that world and reading those articles and discussing those things regularly, I might still be using the older term, not knowing that now people find that older term to be insensitive, right? And so that I thought was a really interesting point too. This is all making you very happy that you deleted Facebook many years ago and was never on Twitter, Instagram, etc. I don't envy folks that must be on them for work or promotion. Yeah, it's not like, I feel confident in my lane of being a tech enthusiast, being a gaming enthusiast, being someone that just loves sci-fi and fantasy. And the more I can learn about those things and share publicly, that's what I have social media for. Not to talk about everything in my life, right? Like, just as a great example, when I first had my son, I had lots of new mom struggles that I was dealing with constantly every single day. I didn't turn all my social media accounts into a play-by-play of my new mom struggles because that's not what I think of my social media accounts for, right? So I'd rather stick to the topics that I feel comfortable speaking about publicly. And not that I don't make mistakes in those, because I do. That kind of stuff is changing all the time. But that, to me, doesn't feel as like gut-wrenching as when you make a mistake about something more serious. You have social media to look at pretty pictures and memes. I like that. That's perfect. A streamer rode 800 miles on a bike in Japan for charity and almost got run over by a truck. Some people were complaining. Some people will complain no matter what. That's true too. B. Dave said that too. St. Clair said, I tend to recommend some people keep a Facebook account even without using it, simply because it's one of the only ways you can deal with some of the problems they cause. That's interesting. The only reason I still keep my Facebook account is because I have a few people in my life that still use Facebook event invites when they're throwing a party. I feel like a lot of people have migrated over to Partyful now for that, but for those that haven't, like my extended family group chat is only on Facebook. So when they're planning Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve or anything like that, I would never see those conversations if I didn't have my Facebook account still. Throgani says, sounds like you have a healthy relationship with the purpose of social media in your life. I try to. Effecta says, kind of off topic, did you ever ban anyone here? If so, how many are on Twitch jail? Well, I let my mods handle that. I have banned a few myself, but for the most part, the Dragon Rider High Lords, which is what we call the moderators on this channel, are so fantastic about keeping this community a nice place to be. And our general rule of thumb is anyone who comes in and is being disrespectful to either me or anyone else in chat, they get a warning. You get a warning first. And if after that warning, the person like doubles down and is still like, no, I'm going to be a jerk, then they get banned. So you get a chance to fix your mistake first. But if people don't, then I don't know how many people are on our Twitch jail, but I've been a partner for 11 years, so probably quite a few. I've been a partner for a long time, and I'm a woman on the internet. So pair those things together. We probably have quite a few. And CP Falcon. So let's go to a Dragon Rider High Lord expertise. For our expertise, CP Falcon says, almost nobody gets banned. I don't know where all the trolls went, but they're not here. And that's lovely. That's what we like. We do have a very nice community here. But yeah, like if someone comes in and starts like bullying other people in chat, I won't stand for that. And if someone comes in and is really disrespectful to me, I won't stand for that. I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. So like a great example is I know some streamers that will auto ban someone if they come in and say, "Do you have an OnlyFans?" Let's say, right? I try to assume the best in this person, right? That if we course correct and say, "Oh, no, thank you, it's not that kind of channel," they might go, "Oh, okay." And join and hang out and become a lovely community member, right? As long as you're like, "Oh, this isn't the place for that." That's okay. I try not to jump to conclusions and, assume that means the worst and auto ban. But that's just the rules on my channel, and everyone makes the rules for their own channel. Catnip says, or if someone pops in mentioning affordable engagement, yes, no. Like someone comes in right away trying to sell stuff, we have to say, "Oh, no, thank you. Super not interested in that. You're welcome to hang out and watch the stream, but please don't promote your engagement tool." And then if they continue doing it, it's like, all right, well, you've been warned. Same goes for any random sign up for this raffle. Yeah, anything that seems like spam is usually like, "Hey, no thanks." And then, again, if the spam continues or gets worse, goodbye. You've been warned. Catch22 says, I auto-ban anyone that says I can get cheap viewers in my stream. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's pretty obvious it's just a spam or bot account. If someone comes in spouting slurs, though, banned. Totally agree. Because, again, that's bullying people in chat. And, like, that's not I could potentially be misunderstanding the situation here. If you come in spouting slurs, there's no assuming the best. There's no best for me to assume. Like, at that point, you've already crossed the point of no return. But yeah, the general rule of thumb, I feel like for most streamers, is don't be a jerk. You tend to set up the phrases for get viewers in auto mod. Yeah, I love that you can auto mod certain words and auto mod certain phrases, and I definitely use those tools. Frequency says, I like when people are trolls on Amazon and then they see how nice Trisha is and just hang out. Like, I always want to give people, thank you, first of all. But second, I always want to give people the chance to be like, hey, I know you thought it was funny to, like, come in here and say some stuff, but I just want to let you know this isn't really a place for that. You're welcome to hang out, but, like, that's not the vibe. Because sometimes they do go, oh, okay, cool. And then hang out and are, frankly, quite lovely. But you just need to establish that that's not the vibe. CP says, I used to force myself to stay up to watch chat for trolls. First of all, thank you. But now we almost don't even need mods. I don't know if it's a new generation of users on Twitch or if automated tools have gotten too good. Yeah, it's very rare. Sometimes we'll have like one stream where 3 or 4 trolley trolls pop up in one stream. And then I always wonder, like, am I on like one of the Twitch front page carousels or something? Like, where is my stream surface that they're finding me? But apart from that, it ends up being really great. Any recent game recommendations? It's your birthday! Happy birthday, Wyvern's Grave! Here, wait, party balloons for you. Oh, my party balloon button is broken, but here. Party balloons for you! Happy birthday! Exempt says it's what Trish streams. Twitch is still full of trolls, like certain game categories, you think? I don't know. Okay, game recommendations for your birthday. What games do you like? Ball Pit's really good and not too expensive if you wanted to check that out. Clear Obscure Expedition 33, but I know everyone's sick of hearing about that, but I loved that game. Still love. Need to play more of the end game content and the DLC. Donkey Kong Bonanza, if you need to rage room it out a little bit, that's great. Or go back to the classics. If you've never finished Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, especially if you have the Switch 2 upgrades, wow, they're so pretty. Just spend a little time in Hyrule. How come you don't stream on YouTube at the same time like many do? I've thought about it, honestly, but my streams on YouTube never really caught on when I was doing them. And I don't know that it's worth splitting my focus between 2 different chats and like 2 different back ends to make sure the stream quality is great on both. If there's not going to be like a bigger return, I don't know. Maybe that's something for 2026 I could consider. People also like to stream on TikTok live at the same time. YouTube's mod tools are horrendous, I bet. Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon is great. Yeah. Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 2 is beautiful. When I was streaming on YouTube, I didn't like this streaming back end. Play Minecraft and the trolls will come out of the woodwork. Why? Minecraft seems like such a wholesome game choice. That's so surprising to me. Is it because they're all younger? And like you get the younger, angsty teenage thing? I don't know. I'm looking forward to Control 2 coming out this year. That's my big game for this year that I'm hyped about. I still can't believe it's coming this year. Didn't see that coming from a mile away. That was the surprise of the Game Awards that like jaw on floor. Couldn't believe it. But yeah, I mean, I want to do more PC building this year. I want to post more on YouTube this year. I want to get more consistent with my Instagram posting this year. And I know a lot of my Instagram's always been very lifestyle, but I want to mix in a little bit more tech so that my CES content doesn't like come out of nowhere and people feel like they're hit over the head with it. Right now, I feel like my YouTube content is still much more tech focused, but my Instagram content's very lifestyle focused. And I used to keep all those things siloed, right? But now the social media landscape, I don't think you can do that anymore. But yeah, so if I'm gonna like focus more on pre-recorded content on YouTube, I don't know that streaming there often is a great idea. I don't know. But I usually dual stream to Twitch and Amazon Live right now if I'm going to dual stream. Which, P.S. heads up in advance, everybody. It is January 11th. And I still have 15 Amazon streams I need to get in this month. So get ready for the next 2 weeks to be like Amazon stream a la Palooza. Now, what I will say is when I get to the point where I'm like Amazon stream a la Palooza, I don't @ everyone in Discord. I put it in the live stream announcements channel, but I don't @ everyone. Because I know people don't want 3 @ everyone's from my Discord in a day, probably. So if you want to know when I'm live on Amazon, you can choose to turn on notifications for the live stream announcements channel. I've even debated making a separate live stream announcements channel for Amazon from Twitch. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. CV says, F all the other platforms. We want you here. Don't make 26 any worse than it has to be. Please, right? Godspeed. I know. Axion says, what is an Amazon stream? Great question. Amazon.com has they have their own live streaming platform, which is funny because Amazon owns Twitch, but they have a separate live streaming platform that is meant to be more of like a QVC style live streaming platform for people to show off things sold on Amazon that they like, right? And I have been a host, hired as a host for Amazon Live since 2019. It's been a while. But they also have asked me to do my own streams on my own time for them. So my show that I do here on Twitch, Nintendo Weekly, every Friday is simulcast to Amazon. And Nintendo Weekly, a part of that show, is show and tell. So it's like fun Nintendo shirts or hats or accessories that I filmed this past week, right? And I show those off. And then for the Amazon Live viewers that are watching that stream, all the things I'm showing off are linked just below the stream. And for the viewers on Twitch, it's just a fun show and tell. And so that's the one that I've been simulcasting every week. But the other stuff that I do on Amazon, like I do some get readies with me where I'll show off like, I'm getting ready for a premiere, here's the skincare I use. Or I'll do like, I'm doing a VR workout this morning anyway, so I might as well stream it on Amazon and like link the VR headset I'm using. So as long as I'm doing something with something sold on Amazon, I can do a live stream talking about it. So sometimes companies will send me like, here's our latest gaming keyboard and mouse and headset for you to check out and review. And if I don't have time to make a full YouTube video on it, what I will do is go live on Amazon and say, hey, this company just sent me all these things. Let's unbox them and talk about them together. And I do that on Amazon. So that's what Amazon streams are. They're like shoppable live streams. But it's a good way for me to just extemporaneously talk about the tech that I get to see in a way that is less polished and more real than a pre-recorded YouTube video would be. And I like hanging out with you guys. I like hanging out with chat. I think that unboxing tech and taking a look at it for the first time in real time with other people, I like the value in that. I think it's cool. What happens if you don't do 15 streams? Do you get in trouble? I mean, I would be in breach of contract, so maybe. But I'd like to think I probably wouldn't get in trouble. I just probably wouldn't get paid. I don't know, though. I haven't messed around. Victory theme. GT says, how many hours a week is the Amazon stuff? Each stream is about an hour of pre-production and then a half hour of live stream. So about an hour and a half. But I have to fit in 15 before the end of the month, so Godspeed. At least this is the time of year when my work really slows down for a little bit, so I should be able to fit in the rest of the 15. That's enough trouble. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. But yeah, for anyone that's interested in that stuff, and sometimes I just find weird things on Amazon that I'm like, y'all, check out this weird thing I found. That happens too, sometimes. And sometimes I'll go live on Twitch and Amazon at the same time for the just chatting portion. And then say bye-bye to the Amazon folks and continue with the stream over on Twitch. But the difference, I will say, or one of the main differences, is when it's being simulcast to Amazon, it has to be very family-friendly. Now, granted, my Twitch streams are mostly family-friendly anyway. But I have to be conscious of what I'm saying and how I'm saying things a little bit more when I'm live on Amazon than when I'm just live on Twitch. So, and that's because anyone, even kids, can stumble across content on Amazon Live. So Amazon needs to make sure all the content on Amazon is rated E for everyone. The games and the talking. Like when I had Ivan on to talk about board games, he said BS, but the real word for it. And I was like, burp! Because I thought, oh no, I didn't warn Ivan ahead of time that squeaky clean on Amazon Live. But then I was like, okay, if he joins me again, I have to remember to tell him. Squeaky clean, my friends. But my streams here are pretty clean, so it's not that. Can we get a customization Amazon stream, like products to customize your phone, PC, headphones, or whatever, stickers, phone cases, paint pens? We totally could, Catnip Ninja. I actually didn't think anyone would be interested in that. But yeah, we can. That's easy. You're really enjoying season 2 of Fallout on Amazon? I haven't had a lot of time to watch it, so I've only seen the first episode. I got to see the first episode at the premiere, but I haven't seen it since then, because the only TV time I've had has gone to Stranger Things. And then I was right into CES. So maybe no Anthony Carboni on Amazon. You know, Anthony's a wonderful host. And if I told him, I mean, for goodness sake, he hosts for Disney for Star Wars. If you tell him to be squeaky clean, he will, but you'd need to warn him. For sure. Same thing, whereas I would say Gary Whitta, even if you warned him, I don't know that you could rein that in. Maud's been on before. She can be very professional. So, if you tell Maud, language, she can do it. Gary's a loose cannon. He did a great job on D-News. Yeah, Anthony's a great host. But yeah, that's always the thing I have to keep in mind if it's an Amazon stream. How about all the things you need to Prime Video and chill? That's a great... Hold on. I should be writing these down. Y'all are giving me, good ideas over here. Okay. Anything you want to see should always be top of mind for me. Okay. All the things you need to Prime Vid and chill. And I think they even let me, list my favorite things to watch on Prime Video, too. So I could do that, too. So, a watch party themed... When is the Stream Machine coming out? Dude, I saw nothing about that at CES. Not a whiff of that, and I was looking for it. No news at CES. About a steam machine, if that's what you meant, from Valve, about the Valve hardware announced. Nothing. What was my favorite new gadget at CES this year? Probably the rideable suitcase. That's like the one thing that I really want to buy for myself. It was great. I rode it around a bit. The robot that cut grass. There were a couple robot lawnmowers that looked really cool. Oh, thank you for the warning, Joker Joe. I can't handle that. I can't handle bad stuff happening to kids. That is the one thing. Like, I don't mind gore. I'll watch The Boys all day. But when it's bad stuff happening to kids, nope, I'm out. Ooh, I don't know about delivery systems for junk food and candy. But I feel like junk food and candy could be part of the watch party stream. There were rumored leaks on steam machine prices. Yeah, you can talk about that here, and thank you for asking. I generally give rumors very little credence. But we can always talk about them as long as we state that, like, these are just rumors. No children of the corn. No. If bad things happen to kids, it's really tough for me. And that changed for me when I became a parent. Like, my mama bear instincts, I think, are too intense. And that's, like, for anyone's kids. Yes, for my kid, but now it, like, extends to all kids. That when bad stuff is happening to kids, it hits me in a very visceral way. And, like, I need to do something about it. And obviously, in a piece of media that I'm watching, there's nothing I can do about it. And so it's just really upsetting for me. So thank you for warning me. That's, like, the one thing I really can't handle in media now. Because my inclination is protect that baby. And when it's disconnected, there's no way I can. A Dice Goblin stream. You know, I've wanted to do a Dice Goblin stream. And Ivan and I were going to do one and then no dice. I talked about this before, but yeah, we had no dice to show. And Ivan was like, we can just talk about the dice. And I was like, oh no, Amazon rules, I have to actually show them. There's no just talking about it. Not sure if it would be a CES thing, but was there any new battery tech? Yes. There was lots of new battery tech. The coolest one, I didn't see it, but we talked about it on Daily Tech News Show. Someone else talked about it. I want to say it was from a company called Willow, but they actually had a working demo of one of those situations where it's a small space. They can wireless charge anything in that space. And lots of people have tried to do that kind of idea before, but it didn't really work. And the person on DTNS that was talking about it said this was actually the closest that they've seen to this actually working. Which, it made me think of Three Body Problem, if anyone's read Three Body Problem. Of, like, just this existence we could be in where all of our wireless devices just charge. They just do. There's no more need for outlets or charging cables or anything because everything just does it. But apparently that was pretty cool to see. I didn't get to see it. You wish strategy guides for books or games are a thing again? They sell a lot of them on Amazon, but I don't know how good they are. And I don't want to promote any of them if I haven't seen them because my worry is that they're just AI slop. There's a lot of books on Amazon that are just AI slop. Like, AI wrote the whole book, AI wrote the whole description, and they're just hoping to sell some. And I'm like, ooh, you gotta be real careful. Is the Netflix Three Body Problem worth watching? I don't remember how far they got. Didn't it get canceled pretty early? It's not as good as the books. Read the books. If you have the option, read the books. The show was weird because the books tell the story in a very specific way. And even though the books are swapping timelines and stuff, I feel like the show is more confusing the way they choose to do the timelines than the book is. Beardtastic, wouldn't that be lovely? Beardtastic said if only Amazon had the moral backbone to ban AI slop. If only Amazon did. If only Meta did for Instagram and Facebook. If only YouTube did. If only any of them would ban AI slop, or at least label things that were made with AI. Like, as a creator, I have hundreds of thousands of hours of my face and voice out there. Anyone could make me say or do whatever they want with AI. And I would love for there at least to be some regulation in terms of, like, if something was made with AI, it would need to be labeled as such so people would know it's not really me. Like, back in the SourceFed days, we probably shouldn't have, but we used to laugh about, like, deep fakey kind of stuff because it looked so bad. Like, I mean, of us. We used to laugh at deep fakey stuff of us because it looked so bad. And nowadays it's getting realistic enough looking that it's scary. Sprinkle says they can't because they invested millions into AI. You've been meaning to read the books, but checked out the show first, and it really turned me off at the boat scene because they showed all the kids. Just jump ship, haha, on the book and the show after. Steam is okay with AI labeling, and I know I love that for Steam. It's not canceled. They're working on season 2. Okay. But yeah, read the books is what I would say for Three Body Problem. The show wasn't terrible once I realized what they were doing with it, but I like the storytelling in the books better. So, you know how a lot of people in TV shows don't like time jumping around? The books have time jumping around, and the Three Body Problem show tries to do it in chronological order, and I don't think it works as well. Like, I feel like I only understood the show because I read the books. Do we consider AI product inherently slop? Not all of it. I think AI slop is a very specific category. The books are dark. They are dark. But I can read dark books. It's the visual that I can't deal with. Speaking of books, did you ever finish Tomorrow? No, but I'm farther in it. I didn't finish it, but I'm farther in it than I was before. I did get a small chance to read over the break. You are not a dice goblin, my friend. You are a dice dragon. I love that. I love that. Bye, Baka. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I actually have to go soon, too, because of this audition I have. And also I'm so tired. I'm surprised I'm not incoherently speaking on the stream. Jumper Joe says, ethical use here and there doesn't bug me, but most of AI stuff is really isn't ethical with how it's trained. I think there needs to be a lot more conversation around that, for sure. You have a hard time with dark books. You prefer black text on white paper, otherwise I can't read. Ha 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 joke. I see. You read the Witcher books. You don't like them, hence did not care for the show or games. Well, that makes sense. If you don't like the books, you probably wouldn't like the show or the games since they're based off the books. You wish me all the best for the audition. Thank you. I don't honestly know that it's a job that I'm perfect for. I actually plan to suggest some of my hosty friends to the casting director in case they have not auditioned them yet. Like, I actually think Maud would be perfect for this job. So, while it's interesting to me, it's not exactly my wheelhouse. I think Maud would be better for it. Or like a Jackie Jang or someone like that. But yeah, I have an audition after this. But for me, I always consider auditions more of like a let's just meet new people and new teams. So when I do my audition, I'll do the best that I can. And then I will probably say like, hey, disclaimer, it feels like you're looking for this. I'm a little more of this, but I think you should probably look at these other people if you want this. That being said, if you liked my audition and you eventually have an opening for something more like this, I'm your girl. That's how I like to try to play it because I'm very well aware. I've been doing this long enough professionally that I'm very well aware where my strengths lie. And while I might be okay or good at this, I'm better at this. Do I still get stage fright or nervous? Sometimes. Any game I remember that had me really hooked? Could be mobile. Well, if you want to hear a mobile game recommendation, I love the Dinosaur Polo games. Mini Metro, Mini Motorways. And it's Mini Metro that's available on phones. How many outfits do you need to bring to big events like CES? Depends on how many days the event is. But CES for me is a 5 to 6 day event, so 6 outfits. That was a little Karate Kid wax on, wax off. Yes, I channeled my inner Danielson right there for you. I love cosplaying Wonder Woman. I need to bring out my Wonder Woman cosplay at some point again. That would be great. Sometimes the movie adaptations are better. I actually, in some ways, really liked the early seasons of the Game of Thrones TV show better than the books. I thought it was a little easier to follow than the beginning of the books. Oh, the Captain Carter cosplay is your personal favorite. I need to take photos on that. I've still not taken really good photos in the Captain Carter cosplay. Yes, you can ask me a question about my stream setup. Go for it. I love chatting about that. I love my stream setup. There's actually, after being at CES, there's a few things I want to change in my stream setup. I have a video coming out on a new keyboard I really want to put in my stream setup. Really badsy like. The early seasons of that show, Game of Thrones, are incredible. I give you IG tweet the other day about the TV, Cameron Patrick. I don't know what that means. Sorry, did I miss the first part of it? GK Gamer Fan listed all my specs. So if you're curious about the specs of my streaming setup, they're all listed right there in chat. Your sister's name is Dawn. On her birthday, you say, happy birthday, Dawn, y'all, son. I like it. I like it. Did I have trouble finding booths that weren't doing something AI? Not only did I have trouble, I don't know that there were any that existed. Every booth, felt the need to talk about their AI capabilities somehow. Every single booth. No matter what they were. Song of Ice and Fire. That's what that is. Many parts of Song of Ice and Fire I had to plow through and figure out what was going on. Yeah, when you're reading the books, it's really tough. I was constantly flipping to the family trees in the back to try to figure it out. And at least the show, I think, did a good job of more clearly explaining that stuff. You have many displays. A power-hungry PC tower, body heat, etc. It's just a lot of heat. I see your door is closed for clear family privacy. And you stream for hours. How do you keep your room cool? I never realized how much of a problem that was to solve. It's a big problem to solve. And I will show you how I keep my room cool, which actually, it's not really on right now. It should have been on this whole time, but it hasn't been. It's been misbehaving. But here, I'll use my other camera so you can see. So up there, this is like a little mini split that we had installed here in my office because it gets so hot in here. So I turn that on before I stream, and then that helps to keep this room a little cooler. But yeah, it's not on right now. Oh, it's not on because it's set to 79 degrees. That's why it's not doing anything. All right, let's see now. I just turned it down to 74. Yeah, Critter Nation, I'm a little worried about the ending of the show, if they do the show. But yeah, it gets really warm. Waterbrain says mini split is genius. Yeah, it's a mini split that's specifically advertised to be very quiet. So I can keep it running really quiet in this room while I'm streaming. Now, if I'm filming something for YouTube, I'll turn it off before I start filming just in case the mic picks it up a little bit. But while I'm live, you generally can't hear it in the background when it's running. You might hear it when it first kicks on because it goes hard when it first kicks on and then it kind of evens out. But that's what I have in the office. And I didn't have it the first couple years I lived in this house, but my wonderful husband convinced me to install it in here. He was like, I think it's a worthy upgrade and it's a business write-off because it's your office. But yeah, my room gets really hot because not only do I have this tower, I have a whole gaming PC that's massive under this desk because I have my streaming PC and my gaming PC. So I have two full tower and setups here. My studio lights, my camera. Nate has his whole computer set up right next to mine for gaming at night and stuff like that, couples gaming stuff. And so that's 3 PC towers, studio lights, a camera. It gets very, very warm in here. Cameron, okay, you said, sorry, I'm trying to go back so I can get the history. I give you IG tweet the other day about the TV. Oh, do you mean an Instagram DM? About the Samsung TV? I'll look. I don't get most of my Instagram DMs. Like, my settings are weird and I don't get most of them. So if you ever DM me on Instagram and I don't get back to you, I probably haven't seen it. It's way easier to hit me up on Discord. I usually have that open. Maface says even 74 is warm to me. Cameron Patrick, hit me up on Discord just in case I can't find it on the Instagram DM. And I'm happy to get back to you. What games does Nate play? He's on his second playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 right now. I'm trying to get him on Clair Obscure, but we'll see. It might not be his kind of game. But he's on his second playthrough of that. And we're playing through Split Fiction together as well. We haven't finished it though. You said 74 is your default setting. Yeah, I mean, I live in a very warm climate normally, so my body is adjusted to warmer temperatures. 74 is a really nice, comfortable room temperature for me. But I know for a lot of people that's warm. When I go visit family back east and their default's 68, me and Nate and Logan are freezing in that house because 74 is our normal. But, when you live in a cold environment, 68 is the economical choice because you're not spending all the money on heating. On the opposite side of the spectrum, when you live in a warm environment, 74 is the economical choice because we're not spending all the money on air conditioning. So, does he play Madden? He does not. He loves football, but he doesn't play football games. Brudokin says, as a Canadian, none of these temps make sense to me. Oh, I'm sorry. I know I'm speaking all in Fahrenheit. All right. I see the partial score coming out, which means the game is on, which means I have to go check and make sure my husband and son are okay before my audition and get ready for my audition because it's right around the corner. So thank you for all the luck with the audition. Y'all, it is so good to be back. I'm finally going to be back to a normal stream schedule. A normal stream schedule with oodles of Amazon streams tossed in there. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of Amazon streams tossed in there over the next 2 weeks. But a normal Twitch streaming schedule. Back to getting my office put together. Getting my landing just outside of here. It has the overflow for my office. And that's the area that Nate's always give it all away. Get rid of it, which I get it. He doesn't want my office spilling out into the landing forever, and it has been for the past 6 or 7 months. Brudokin says, thank you for the tips on the cooling room. Good luck at your audition. Best to you. Thank you for asking your question, and I hope it helps. Before I had the mini split, the other thing I did was a little desktop fan that you plug in via USB-A. And that helped a little. This is definitely the solution, but of course it's much more expensive and permanent. So you got to do what's right for you. I imagine one of those little floor standing fans, the ones that look like a big oval, that could be a good solution too if you can find one that's quiet enough. All right. Good luck, everybody. Good luck and have a wonderful rest of your day. If you're cheering for sports ball today, may all your sports ball dreams come true. And I will be live next on Twitch on Tuesday for the first Gong Show of 2026. I am excited. All right. Goodbye, my friends. Thank you for being lovely. I will find someone to stream, or I will find someone to raid during our goodbye screen. Okay. Goodbye, everyone.